What did Jenna say to you on the phone? Cora asked. Cole drifted back into the memory. Not much. Just asked where I was, when I'd be there. Where did the accident happen? Cole thought for a moment. On Mayfield Road. Jenna was supposed to be getting married from their new house, with the ceremony at a hotel over an hour's drive away. A woman only runs from her own wedding for two reasons. Either there's something wrong with a man, or there's something wrong with her. Cole knew he hadn't done anything to wrong her. So what was Jenna's reason? Cold feet? Did she not love him? Or was she in love with someone else? As Cole sifted through the details, a heavy suspicion settled over him. He'd been set up. A silence fell between them. Cole lowered his head, not saying a word, his mind flooded with images of Jenna. Jenna in a wheelchair. Jenna holding a bouquet, marching into his office for a grand, public confession of love. Jenna trailing behind him, pestering him with questions. Clingy Jenna. Distant Jenna after they got together. Moody Jenna. Temperamental Jenna. Jenna in a wedding dress. All those images were like soap bubbles, swelling to fill his mind, crowding and jostling for space until, one by one, they popped, leaving behind a puddle of stinking, foul water. A tightness seized Cole's chest. He looked up, agitated, and met Cora's worried gaze. She was anxious for him. He remembered a time a project at the company had gone south. They'd stood to lose millions, but even then, Cora hadn't looked as tense as she did now. The window was open, and a cool breeze of early summer drifted in, a gentle sigh that seemed to blow the agitation from his body. I'm in a bad mood right now, he said. Can I hold you? Of course. Cora opened her arms to him. If Cole needed it, she would be his anchor. He held her tight, his palm resting on the small of her back. Don't worry. I'm not as fragile as you think. I managed to accept my grandmother's death. What else is there that I can't handle? He felt her tense up. I know what you're worried about, he said, his voice softer. I promise you, I won't hurt myself. I'll live, and I'll live well. I'll live happily. I won't waste a single second. You saved my life, Cora. I'm not going to leave you alone. It was a vow. His words didn't bring Cora much comfort. She was still sad. Sad for him. Sad for the Cole who had poured out all his feelings for nothing. Sad for the Cole who never got to see his grandmother one last time. Cora nuzzled against his chest, her voice muffled. Cole, my heart aches for you. Yeah, I know. For me, that's enough. It's not enough, because I haven't even started comforting you yet. Cora raised a hand, her palm caressing his cheek. The atmosphere shifted. It was impossible to say who moved first, who closed their eyes first. When faced with heartbreak, some people drink or smoke. Some lose themselves in video games all night. Some clean, some binge eat, and some just sleep. The point was to find something to do, to fill the time, so there was no room left for sadness. Cora's choice was to kiss. When the body felt pleasure, the heart naturally lightened. She parted her lips, letting him conquer her territory. No matter how much force he used, she responded with equal intensity. The air grew thick. Her hand slid from his face to his throat, then down to his chest, feeling the powerful, steady beat of his heart. She matched his fervor, her abandon growing until it was no longer clear who was comforting whom. Suddenly, Cole pulled back. His eyes were dark with desire. He let out a breath, took her right hand, and pressed a kiss in her palm. His voice was a raw rasp as he tried to steady his breathing. We can't keep going. Cora was straddling his lap, the two of them fitting together like puzzle pieces. Well, had she moved there? And when had her shirt been pushed up? Her eyes were hazy, her cheeks flushed an unnatural red. She leaned her head against his shoulder, breathing hard, her chest rising and falling, brushing against his arm with every breath. Cole sat rigid until she slid off his lap. Only then did he stand. Let's go. The ever-sharp Cora was lost in a fog. She looked up at him. Where? Back to the bedroom. To continue, a phantom strand of hair seemed to tickle her lips, making her want to lick them. Cole forced his gaze away. Your parents and Leo will be back soon. Let go wash up first. We have to give him a bath later. Take care of the kid first. The rest of the time was theirs. She could do whatever she wanted, finish what they'd started in the kitchen, or pick up where they just left off. Cora held out a hand. Give me a pull. My legs are a little weak. He pulled her to her feet, and she fell naturally into his arms. Deciding to be a real married couple simplified many things. The bathroom door didn't need to be replaced. The things in the box didn't need to be thrown out. The closet didn't need to be purged. The old Cora would have scorned it all. The current Cora understood and supported it. Truthfully, the shower wasn't strictly necessary, since they'd only get dirty again and have to rewash. But Cora was a person who valued ritual. And while these two bodies had been together countless times, for the her of right now, this was the first time. A first time deserved to be taken seriously. First, she'd wash herself until she smelled divine. Then she'd change. She remembered her closet was full of all kinds of nightgowns. Cora pointed toward the bathroom. Who's first? You go ahead. I'll wait until Leo gets back. His grandparents are with him. You don't need to worry. Cora opened the closet and began picking through her clothes. After a moment, she turned to Cole. Which one do you like? I get to choose? Cole looked at the nightgowns in her hands. He never knew a woman could own so many, in so many styles. He was overwhelmed. Cora held up one in each hand. The black one or the red one? Cole's eyes fixed on the red slip. It was like a flash of light, and he glanced away after just a second. He didn't say a word, but his eyes told her everything she needed to know. I've decided. The red one it is. Cora tossed the black one aside and headed straight for the bathroom. I'm going to shower. You're in charge of prep work. And a little secret for you. There's a hidden compartment in the walk-in closet. Open it. You'll be surprised. She gave him a mysterious wink, leaving him hanging. The bathroom door closed, but it might as well have been left open. Cora seemed to have forgotten about the door's transparency. She went in and started undressing without a hint of hesitation. Cole hadn't intended to peek, but his eyes drifted in that direction against his will. Seeing that she'd already taken off her top, he quickly turned and went into the walk-in closet. Inside the walk-in closet was a separate hidden section. He opened it and found a whole other world. Cole picked up a leather belt, assuming it was for pants. But when he measured it, he realized it was meant to be worn around the neck. Besides that, there were studded heels, a delicate chain meant to be worn over the chest, a pair of non-prescription glasses frames, and various work-style outfits. Were they into role-playing? An image immediately flashed in Cole's mind. Cora in a severe black uniform, wearing the glasses, studded heels peeking out from under black stockings, a riding crop swinging in her hand. Cora had a kind of magic. Whenever he was in a bad mood, she could so easily take control of his mind, redirect his focus, and make him think only of her. Just like now, his head was filled with nothing but Cora. Every word she'd said, every expression, every movement, and the thought of her dressed in these clothes. His body ached to hold her, to kiss her, to do all kinds of intimate things with her. His phone rang, jolting him back to reality. It was Leo. Dad, we're back. Come get me. Where are you? At the front door. Cole walked out of the closet. It was impossible to ignore the massive glass wall of the bathroom. He took one look, and his heart nearly exploded. Cora's back was to him, her long, wet hair clinging to her skin. His eyes traced the line of it down to her slender waist, her elegant figure. She must work out regularly. Her body was a perfect S-curve, her skin a healthy, pale white. Cole's gaze moved down inch by inch. Just the sight of her back was enough to send his mind into a tailspin. Even after he left the bedroom, the stimulating image remained seared into his memory. He knew, with absolute clarity, that this was their bedroom. This was the bathroom where they had showered together. This was the bed where they had slept countless times, where they had made love again and again. Leo had been carried back on Robert's back. Eleanor had heard that strength training was the best way to lose weight, so she made him carry Leo on a slow walk. The exercise had nearly killed him. Robert was panting and drenched in sweat. Seeing Cole was like seeing a savior. Take him quick. I can't. I really can't carry him anymore. Once the weight was lifted, Robert collapsed onto the sofa like a dead fish. Grandpa's no good, Leo announced. He only carried me for a little while, and he's already tired. Cole's brow furrowed. He gently corrected his son. Don't talk about your grandpa like that. It's not polite. At his father's admonishment, Leo's face fell, his lower lip trembling. The person he feared most in the house was his dad. Whenever his dad looked at him like that, he didn't dare speak. Sensing the shift in atmosphere, Robert immediately sat up. It's fine, it's fine. I'm a little useless. He adored his grandson and couldn't bear to see him upset. Cole didn't want to discipline his son in front of them. He picked Leo up and headed upstairs. Dad, I'm going to take him up for his bath. Go on, go on. Don't yell at him. Just correct him. He's just a kid. He didn't mean it, Robert said, his heart aching for his grandson. Cole didn't respond. He brought Leo into his room and set him down. Do you know what you did wrong? Leo hunched his shoulders fearfully, darting a timid glance at his father. I was wrong, he whispered. I shouldn't have said that about Grandpa. Seeing his sincere apology, Cole knelt to meet his gaze. Leo, everyone gets old. One day, when I'm old and can't carry you, will you say I'm useless? Leo's eyes welled up, and tears began to fall. Daddy is the best. Daddy will never be useless. Cole hugged him, patting his back gently. Grandpa is so good to you. You have to respect him, understand? I understand. I'll never do it again. Daddy, please don't be mad. Okay, no more crying. Cole wiped the tears from his face. Daddy's not mad. I'm just teaching you how to speak kindly. Leo nodded obediently. I know. Leo cried easily, but he was just as easily soothed. He was a reasonable child. When he knew he was wrong, he admitted it without making a scene. Come on, Dad will give you a bath. With the first time under his belt, Cole was much more skillful now, and he didn't hurt him. Leo, soaking in the tub, suddenly had a thought. Daddy, Mommy's hand is hurt, so she can't get it wet, right? How does she take a bath? Do you help her? Does she lie in the tub like me? Grown-up business is for grown-ups. Little kids shouldn't ask so many questions. Oh, barred from talking, Leo started singing instead. I love to take a bath, my skin is so good, la la la. After the bath, Cole went back to their room. Cora was getting dressed. The red nightgown made her skin look even paler. She opened the bathroom door and saw Cole standing there. She looked a little uncomfortable. How long have you been standing there? The door was transparent. At such a close distance, he would have seen everything. I just finished giving Leo his bath. I just got back. Cora pressed. So how much did you see? I saw your back. That's it. She'd been striking all sorts of poses in there, and he hadn't seen a single one. It was like winking at a blind man, singing love songs to the deaf. Cora smiled sweetly. Go on, get in and wash up. Now, it was her turn to be the audience. She wasn't like him. She would stare at every inch of his body, not missing a single corner. What about you? He asked. I'm going to dry my hair. Cora sat at her vanity, facing the bathroom. Right here. It was clear she wasn't leaving. I'll wait. I'll dry your hair for you first. All right. Cora's hair was long and thick. She'd never dyed or permed it. It was naturally long, black, and straight, incredibly smooth. Cole took the hairdryer from the shelf and plugged it in. Is your right hand okay? He hadn't been as thoughtful as his own child. A 4-year-old knew an injured hand couldn't get wet and needed help. Yet Cole had let her wash her own hair. Cora looked at Cole's worried face in the mirror. She held up her hand. It's completely fine. You worry too much. I'm an adult, not a child who needs to be looked after. Cole didn't agree. Adults need to be taken care of too, he corrected. And it's only natural for a husband to take care of his wife. Cora accepted immediately. Then I'll be counting on you to help me shower tomorrow. The hand holding the hairdryer froze. He looked up slightly and met Cora's triumphant gaze in the mirror. The strands of hair slipped through his fingers, slick and smooth, like tentacles, like seaweed, as cunning as their owner. Cora touched the hair on her chest to confirm it was dry, then urged Cole into the shower. Don't worry, I won't peek. She covered her eyes, but a gap between her middle and ring fingers revealed a pair of watchful eyes. Trusting her was like believing the sun would rise in the west tomorrow. But if Cora wasn't afraid of being seen, what did a grown man like him have to be afraid of? Besides, they were about to do something far more embarrassing. He couldn't exactly do it blindfolded, could he? Cole took a deep breath, preparing himself, and straightened up like a soldier about to march onto the battlefield. Let me pick out some pajamas for you two. Men's pajamas were usually simple, without many frills. Cora looked through his options, dissatisfied with all of them. Finally, in a pile of clothes, she found a wine-red, open-front silk shirt. Then she dug out the black choker from the hidden compartment. Thinking about work tomorrow, Cora decided to keep it simple, not too many games. She dangled the choker from her finger. Honey, will you wear this for me tonight? Her tone was a request, but her expression was non-negotiable. Cole took it from her and, under her heated gaze, went into the bathroom. You couldn't see out from inside the bathroom, but he knew the person outside could see in perfectly. It put a lot of pressure on the person showering. It felt like being surrounded by a wall of cameras. Is Cora watching me? Even though he couldn't see out, he could feel a pair of eyes on him. His feeling was correct. Cora was watching him. She had even secretly moved a chair to the bathroom door, openly appraising his silhouette. She had said she wouldn't peek, but this wasn't peeking. This was watching, loud and proud. The more Cora watched, the hotter her body became. She felt a tickle in her nose. Big. So big that Cora's face flushed red, and she couldn't look directly. Cole seemed to sense her gaze, frowning at the door in front of him. Cora muffled a laugh behind her hand, her lips pursed. She knew Cole had a good body, but she hadn't realized it was this good. Wheat-colored skin, clearly defined muscles. Seeing him naked was a powerful visual blow. According to research, women should look at handsome, muscular men more often to lower their mortality risk. A positive psychosocial state is linked to a lower risk of death. Seeing beautiful things stimulates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and making people happy. A pleasant visual experience can improve mood, reduce stress, and increase focus. The liver opens into the eyes. When the eyes are pleased, the liver is soothed, and when the liver is soothed, one's chi flows smoothly. So, with a handsome man like Cole showering naked in front of her, of course she was going to get an eyeful. It made her face flush and her heart race, her blood hum in her veins. This was better than any tonic soup. He was her legally wedded husband. It would be a waste not to look. Cora, lacking experience, decided to find 18 gigabytes of study material. She pulled out her phone and searched, but only came up with a pile of pop-up ads. Just as she was racking her brain for keywords, the door opened. Cora looked up. Water droplets clung to Cole's body. One drop slid from his brow bone, tracing a path down into the open front of his shirt. Cora swallowed hard. After a long moment, she managed to say, "You shower really fast." Cole had expected her to watch, but not to move a chair right up to the door. There was no shyness on her face, only pure appreciation in her eyes. To be honest, being looked at by her like this made him feel pretty proud. At least it meant he was attractive enough for her. Including washing his hair, Cole had been in the shower for less than 10 minutes. Knowing Cora was watching, he'd worked with fierce efficiency, rinsing the soap off his body in a few quick motions. Like Cora, he had kept his back to the door while showering, and the entire time, he could feel a pair of eyes fixed on him. It was the first time Cole had ever felt so self-conscious while showering. He wondered how long it had taken their future selves to get used to it. "What are you looking at?" Cole stared at the phone in her hand. "I'm watching videos." Studying, Cora said. She knew there was a big difference between practice and the real thing. "You don't need to study that," Cole said. "When the time comes, it'll happen naturally." Cora toyed with the hair on her chest. "I was talking about learning massage," she said with a pout. "What did you think I wanted to learn? Did I get it wrong?" Cole was about to apologize when Cora continued. Grasping, stroking, pressing, kneading, pulling, and ball rolling. Cole was speechless. Massage involved ball rolling? Which balls exactly? Cora pointed at his neck. "Why aren't you wearing it? You put it on for me." Cole handed her the choker from the bathroom counter and leaned down toward her. Cora, still sitting, fastened it for him. "Is that too tight?" "No, it's perfect." The choker pressed against his Adam's apple. It was a little uncomfortable, but tolerable. Cora reached out and touched his throat, as if flipping a switch. Cole's eyes immediately darkened. Before he could react, Cole swept her up into his arms. Suddenly airborne, Cora yelped and threw her arms around his neck. "What was that for? Don't you like surprises?" He carried her to the bed. Without any preamble, he lifted her chin and began to kiss her. Worried about crushing her, Cole propped himself up, holding her in his arms. Just as he'd said, you didn't need to study this sort of thing. The body's natural reactions would teach you everything you needed to know. Cole pinned Cora's wrist to the pillow, careful to avoid her hair. The sounds in the silent room grew louder. He could feel her body temperature rising. After what felt like an eternity of kissing, Cora started gasping for air, a small protest coming from her nose. Cole released her, his gaze dropping to her slightly parted lips. As soon as her breathing evened out, he captured them again, this time with a savage intensity. His other hand moved from her waist, slowly inching upward. He was about to hook a finger under her shoulder strap when his neck suddenly tightened. Cora had grabbed the choker. Cole was forced to stop. "I want to be on top." Cole didn't move. Cora's voice went soft. "Can I? Honey." Cole placed his hands on her waist and, in one smooth motion, rolled over. Their positions were reversed. Cora straddled him, her hands braced on his chest. The straps of her nightgown slipped, pooling precariously on her shoulders. She leaned close to his neck, her nose brushing his ear. Her warm breath ghosted over his skin, and a fine, tingling sensation, like an ant crawling over a nerve ending, spread through him. This time Cora took the lead. A trail of feathery kisses descended from his forehead, over his brow, the tip of his nose, his lips, his chin, his neck, his collarbone. Cora's hands followed the open neckline of his shirt downward. "Honey, can I see your abs?" At this point, asking was unnecessary. Cole guided her hand to a button. "Undo it yourself." The next second, Cora grabbed both sides of the shirt and ripped it open violently. A button nearly flew into Cole's face. Looking at the dismembered button, Cole finally understood why his shirt had been missing a few when he'd first woken up in this timeline. Cora held the two pieces of his shirt, her face a mask of innocence. "It's undone." Cole was speechless. When you don't know what to say, just smile. Cora demonstrated the massage techniques she'd just learned on his body. She traced the lines of his muscles, her voice full of pity. "You must have suffered so much. From now on, I'll take good care of you, cherish you." He knew she didn't mean what he thought she meant, but his heart still gave a little flutter, something akin to a palpitation. After tearing his shirt open, Cora's hands moved down his stomach to the waistband of his pants. She fumbled with them for a moment, unable to get them off, and made a sound of frustration. Why would you wear pants right after a shower? You're just going to take them off anyway. Cole was silent. He couldn't exactly walk around with a shirt on top and nothing on the bottom. And you're wearing a belt buckled so tight. Are you trying to keep me out? Before Cole could explain, a wicked smile spread across Cora's face. But I like it this way. The more you make it a challenge, the more I like you, the more I want you. Isn't that what relationships are all about? You understand my bad intentions, and I understand your feigned reluctance. She had to admit, Cole's outfit tonight suited him perfectly. The open, wine-red silk shirt, the black dress pants, paired with a fitting belt. He looked like a cool, aloof heartthrob straight out of a graphic novel. Cora sat on top of him, her eyes seducing him, her hands slowly tracing the line of his belt until she found the buckle. With a soft click, the belt came loose. Cora pulled it free, then eagerly leaned in again to kiss and nip at his lips. She was frantic because only like this did she feel that Cole was completely, utterly hers, that no one could snatch him away. But when it came to the critical moment, it was still up to the man. Cole stroked her head, gently soothing her. He asked her, "Do you prefer fruit or flowers?" "Fruit. For fruits, we have blueberry, yellow peach, watermelon, strawberry, honey peach." Honey peach. Cole took out a honey peach-flavored, ultra-thin condom. The most primitive desires ignited from deep within him. He turned Cora's head and kissed her, his tongue sweeping past her teeth to the roof of her mouth, eliciting an indescribable shiver. He nibbled gently on her lip, coaxing her. "Don't rush. Let me put this on." "Go, Cole." Cole rolled over, pressing her beneath him. He kissed her forehead. "I'll take it from here." "Okay." Cora gripped his shoulders, her body going limp. They hadn't even started, and she already felt weak, relying entirely on him to lead. The hunter had willingly become the prey. Just as he was about to begin, a sharp pain shot through Cora's abdomen, followed by a familiar warmth flowing from below. She was certain it wasn't a physiological reaction to their activities. And if it wasn't that, it had to be her period. Wait. Cora's face changed, and she called a halt. Her eyes were frantic, her cheeks flushed with urgency, her hands gripping Cole's descending right hand tightly. Her reaction startled him for a second, and he froze. "What's wrong?" Cora ducked her head, burying her face in his chest. She bit her lip, and, after a moment of trembling, she said, utterly mortified, "I think I just got my period." Cole's pupils contracted. "Are you sure? I'm going to the bathroom to check." With that, Cora scrambled out of his embrace. Without even putting on shoes, she ran barefoot into the bathroom. The moment she sat down on the toilet, Cora's mind went blank. Her expression was one of tearless despair. Of all the times for it to show up, why now? They had been so close to a bloody battle of a different sort. If she hadn't realized in time, what kind of trauma would that have caused him? Their perfect first time, ruined just like that. Cora wanted to beat her chest, tear her hair out. She was suffocating with frustration. Cole appeared at the door, holding her slippers. "Cora," he asked cautiously, "are you okay?" "Honey, can you give me a pair of period panties? They're in the drawer in the right side of the closet." "Okay." His voice came from outside. A moment later, he was back. He placed the slippers by her feet and the panties in her hand. Throughout the entire process, Cora watched his face. There was no disappointment, no dissatisfaction. Perhaps influenced by hormones, Cora felt a wave of sadness. She opened her mouth to apologize. "I'm sore." Cole cut her off before she could finish. He stood in front of her, his warm hand gently stroking her head. "Did that scare you? It was a close call. I'm just glad nothing happened." A lump formed in Cora's throat. After a long moment, she said hoarsely, "I didn't know it was today." Her period was usually like clockwork, arriving in the first few days of the month. She never expected that the last 5 years had not only changed her life, but her cycle as well. "It's okay. It'll be over soon. Does your stomach hurt? I saw some heating pads for cramps. I'll go get one for you to put on your stomach, and I'll make you a cup of hot brown sugar water." "You don't have to go to all that trouble," Cora said quickly. "I'll be fine with some hot water." Cole gently pinched her earlobe. "Taking care of you is no trouble at all." A woman is always a bit shy about these things, so after placing the heating pad on the bathroom counter, Cole left the room. Hearing the bedroom door close, Cora slowly got up to clean herself. She changed into a different set of pajamas and stuck the heating pad to her lower abdomen. It started to warm up almost immediately. While making dinner that evening, Cole had seen the brown sugar and the packets of herbal remedy for cramps in the refrigerator. He figured they were for Cora. At this hour, Robert and Eleanor were already asleep. Downstairs, Only a housekeeper was scrolling through videos on her phone. When she saw Cole come down, she quickly stood up. Mr. Miller, you're still awake. I'm just making something. What are you making? Can I help you? No, it's fine. I've got it. You can go rest. The housekeeper didn't leave, instead standing by the doorway and watching as Cole opened the fridge and took out the brown sugar. She immediately understood he was making Cora a remedy for her period. A sigh of admiration escaped her. Mr. Miller, you're so good to Miss Vance. Cole just smiled. He boiled some water and followed the instructions on the packet, his movements practiced. It wasn't his first time making this drink. He used to bring it to Cora at work. Later, he made it for Jenna. The medicinal brown sugar water was beneficial, a good alternative to painkillers with excellent analgesic effects, and it also helped regulate one's cycle and alleviate uterine cold. It was ready in 10 minutes. Cole turned off the stove, poured the liquid into a bowl, and stirred it with a spoon to cool it down. When he returned to the bedroom, he saw Cora sitting obediently on the bed, looking like a child waiting for a treat. Cora smelled the medicinal aroma and wrinkled her nose at the dark liquid in the bowl. Is it bitter? She hated bitter things. Not at all. There's brown sugar in it, so it's sweet. I've made it for you before. Cora remembered. Cole had made her brown sugar water a few times. But after she'd assigned him to take care of Jenna, she hadn't had it since. If she hadn't sent Cole to take care of Jenna back then, his leg wouldn't have been injured. Maybe his grandmother wouldn't have died. Cole sat on the edge of the bed. Are you going to drink it yourself? Or should I feed it to you? Cora snapped out her thoughts. You feed me. I don't want to move right now. Cole scooped up half a spoonful and brought it to Cora's lips. Is it hot? Cora shook her head. Not hot. It's sweet. It's not bad, right? Cole asked. It's not bad, Cora confirmed, adding, it's better than hot water. After finishing the bowl, a warmth spread through her body from the inside out. As her body warmed, she grew sleepy. I want a hug, she said, her voice soft and pleading. Okay. Cole set the bowl down and pulled her into his arms. Nestled in his embrace, Cora asked, Honey, are you okay now? After lighting a fire multiple times and then failing to put it out, she barely dared to look at him. I'm fine. Although he was a little disappointed they hadn't gone all the way, just holding her like this was enough to satisfy him. How about I help you with my hand? Cora wiggled her fingers, looking eager to try. I just looked at some information online. I should be able to do it. Cole's breath hitched. He quickly tucked her under the covers. Sure, let's just get some sleep. No more messing around. Cole knew his own stamina. If Cora used her hands, he was afraid her arm would be sore by the end of it. Okay. For once, Cora was exceptionally obedient. When he told her not to move, she didn't. She curled up in the blankets, and when he got into bed, she shifted over and draped a hand over his waist. Cole was a little wary of her. After all, he'd been aroused 4 times today already. Once when he woke up, once in the kitchen, once in the pet room, and once in the bedroom. He wasn't sure his body could handle another round. Sensing his tension, Cora reassured him, I won't tease you anymore tonight. It was easy for Cora to tease him. Just breathing in his arms was enough to throw him into disarray. To help Cole cool down, Cora changed the subject. Do you want me to look into that car crash on Mayfield Road? I'll do it myself. It shouldn't take too long. With a time and a place, he figured a simple online search would do the trick. He picked up his phone and searched. He found the accident report, but it was just a brief summary with no details. He hadn't been the only one in that accident. There were other victims. A total of 7 people had been injured. Anything? It's not clear enough. I'll need to have a professional look into it. The fact that not even a list of victims was released made him feel like someone had suppressed the information. I have a contact for that. Cora shared a business card with Cole. Just tell him what you want to investigate and pay the deposit. In novels, the CEO could just say, I want all the information on this person within 10 minutes and solve any problem. Reality, it turned out, was very different from fiction. For one, young people today weren't fond of working overtime. The message went unanswered for a long time. Cole glanced at the time. 10:47 p.m. He's probably already asleep. We'll try again tomorrow. The main point of investigating the crash was to find out who caused it. Initially, they had both suspected Jenna. But if Jenna had really done it, the law was the law. Knowing Cora's personality, she wouldn't have let her off so easily. The fact that she had only sent her abroad suggested the crash wasn't directly linked to her. Cora was the first to fall asleep. In the beginning, she was incredibly still, like a little cat, her head pillowed on his arm without moving. Cole turned off the nightlight, kissed her forehead with restraint, and then held her as he drifted off to sleep. A new day began. In May and June, the sun rose early. When Cora opened her eyes, Cole was still asleep, one arm still resting on her waist. The bedroom curtains weren't fully closed, and a sliver of light streamed in, falling directly on Cole's face. Cora watched him for a while before she couldn't resist leaning in to kiss him. Just as she was about to pull away, he suddenly wrapped his arms around her, turning the light, butterfly kiss into something deep and passionate. "We're going to be late for work." Cora had already taken several days off. Her assistant had sent her a pile of files yesterday. She had to go to the office today to deal with them. "Is your stomach still bothering you?" Cole asked. "No." Cole released her and lay flat on his back, staring at the ceiling. He had slept well. Perhaps because her period had started, Cora had slept soundly without tossing and turning. The couple got up at the same time. One went to the bathroom, while the other went to the walk-in closet to get dressed. Cora changed into a silk blouse and a long black skirt. Other than the ring on her right hand, she wore no other jewelry. When Cole came in, she opened her jewelry box and asked him to pick something for her. A woman's jewelry was numerous and varied, and Cole was dazzled. Considering her outfit, he chose a simple brooch and a pair of pearl stud earrings. "Put them on for me." Cora turned her ear toward him. It was the first time Cole had ever put earrings on someone. Cora's earlobes were small. Looking closely, he noticed a tiny red mole on her earlobe. When he put the earring in, the mole was hidden. "Done." Cora touched her ear. "What are you wearing today?" "A shirt." "I'm going to the office, too," Cole replied. "Then I'll pick out a tie for you." Cora not only chose a tie for Cole, but also laid out his entire outfit for him. She tied his tie herself, asking as she did, "Can you handle your current job?" "It should be fine." Cole had only become a boss in the last couple of years. In terms of management, he certainly couldn't compare to the experienced Cora. "If I can't handle it, I'll call you. My phone is at your service 24/7. Even if there's nothing wrong, you can still call me. I'll always answer." Cora winked at him. That one short sentence dispelled all of Cole's anxiety. After washing up, Cora sat at her vanity to do her makeup. Her skin was fair, naturally flawless. A light foundation and a touch of lipstick were all she needed. Cora had a lot of lipsticks. She asked Cole to choose one for her. To Cole, all lipsticks were more or less the same color, but his instincts told him it was best not to be dismissive. Cole picked one out. "This one." Cora glanced at the shade. "All right, this one it is. You put it on for me." This was a true test of his self-control. His eyes traced the shape of her lips. Cole fought the urge to kiss her, his throat tightening. Cora's lips were full, soft and sweet to the kiss, like jelly, like a juicy cherry. Every time, he found himself completely lost in them. Cole was unusually nervous as he applied the lipstick, his focus as intense as if he were carving a piece of art. "I didn't see that body razor when I was washing up today. When people get nervous, they tend to make small talk." "Which one?" "The one I used the other morning. The pink one with the soap bar attached." "Ah, the one she had thrown in the trash." Cora's face flushed. "That one was mine." "What did you use it?" He had been curious about it on the plane that day. He noticed Cora's skin was perfectly smooth. She didn't seem to need a razor at all. "You'll find out eventually." Cora wasn't about to tell him which part of her body she used the razor on. Some things were better kept to herself. He felt like he had missed something very significant. Seeing Cole's confused expression, Cora reached out and playfully hooked a finger under his chin, like scratching a big cat. A cat would find it comforting, but a person would only find it ticklish, a tickle that started at the top of his head and went all the way down. Cole grabbed her hand. "Don't move. I'm putting on your lipstick." Cole carefully painted her lips, turning their already pink and plump shape even more tempting. Cora didn't move either, just watched him with her beautiful eyes, watching his hand tremble, his throat swallow, his pupils dilate, and his mouth twitch with unspoken desire. "Done." Finally finished. Cole breathed a sigh of relief, his gaze full of admiration. "Is it nice?" Cole nodded. Cora was already beautiful. The lipstick was the finishing touch, brightening her whole complexion. "Let me see." Cole thought she was going to look in a mirror, but instead, she stood up and wrapped her arms around his neck. "Don't move. Don't blink. Look at me carefully." Her face was clearly reflected in his pupils. He had beautiful eyes, and the reflection of her in them was beautiful too. Her sudden proximity made his heart skip a beat, his mind go hot, lost in the moment. Cora's palm cupped the back of his head, her lips slowly approaching. "Honey, what were you thinking when you were putting on my lipstick?" Under her spell, Cole answered honestly. "I wanted to kiss you." "Then let's have a kiss." "But you just put on lipstick. Don't you want to taste it?" "I do." Cora stood on her toes and kissed him. Cole dazedly caressed her waist, the sound of their lips meeting filling his ears. He stroked her earlobe, careful to avoid her makeup, and kissed her right ear again and again, drawing the tiny red mole into his mouth. Cora couldn't help but let out a soft moan. Cole released her, patting her back to soothe her, and in doing so, to soothe himself. A man's body was very different from what she had imagined. His skin was dry and hot, his chest hard and broad, his muscles defined, full of power. Leaning against him felt incredibly safe. Cora loved Cole. What that meant was, today, she loved him even more than she had yesterday. She loved his eyes, his body, his scent, the way he kissed her, looked at her, held her, touched her. She loved him even when they did nothing at all. Cora tried to steady her breathing. What does my lipstick taste like? Sweet. Like white chocolate. The freshly applied lipstick was already gone, eaten away by his kisses. Cole looked at the tube on the table. Your lipstick's gone. Do you need to reapply? Cora touched her swollen lips. She didn't need a mirror to know they were bright red. She shook her head. No need. This color is just right. It's my favorite shade. The two of them had spent quite a bit of time in the bedroom. Their forgotten son was woken up by Eleanor. Once dressed, Leo came pattering down the hall and knocked on their door. Daddy, Mommy, how long are you going to sleep in? Get up. You're going to be late for work. Feeling like Leo was about to break the door down, Cole quickly went to open it. Good morning, Leo. Good morning, Daddy. The little guy bent down, peeking through the crack in the door to greet Cora inside. Good morning, Mommy. Are you two going to work today? Cora picked up her bag. We are. Daddy will have to take you to preschool today. It's okay. I can go by myself, actually. If his parents weren't there, his grandparents were. If they weren't there, there was always the driver. That's what he thought, but he still hoped his parents would be with him. He just wanted to grow up quickly so he could go to work with them. Leo bypassed his dad to take his mom's hand. Mommy, guess what we're having for breakfast today? Sandwiches. Nope. Is it dumplings? Nope again. Then, noodles. You got it. We're having savory noodles with a thick broth. After breakfast, Cora left for the office, not forgetting to give Cole a goodbye kiss. The rest of the family was clearly used to the sight. Leo tried to compete for affection. Mommy, I want one too. Cora bent down and generously kissed his forehead. There you go. Don't forget this. Cole handed her a thermos. It was the brown sugar water he'd just made. Cora took it. Thanks, honey. It was time. Cole drove Leo to preschool. Daddy, are you picking me up this afternoon too? Cole, holding the steering wheel, answered, I'm not sure. If I have time, I will. Is Uncle Daisy arriving today? Yes, today. He should be home around noon. Great. When he gets here, I'll introduce all my best friends to him. From his words, it was clear Leo had a great deal of respect for Daisy. That Uncle Daisy wasn't just a random nickname. He truly saw the dog as an elder, like his father. After dropping Leo off, Cole drove to the office. He had expected to feel completely out of place with a new job, but to his surprise, he found it came naturally. He had no memory of his own company, but his body remembered it deeply. He went upstairs without needing to think. His assistant saw him sit down and immediately brought him a cup of coffee. The steam rising from it smelled bitter, the lifeblood of a workhorse. Cole scrolled through his phone. He had a separate work number, and the chat history made it clear his workload was immense. With so many projects under his name, making money required time and energy. Cole sipped his coffee while his assistant reported on his work and upcoming schedule. The celebrity they were supposed to sign for an endorsement had backed out at the last minute. He'd recently starred in a hit drama, and his fame and popularity had skyrocketed. His agent had decided to raise the price, believing the previously negotiated fee was no longer worthy of his client. Cole frowned. How much do they want? They went from $8 million to $16 million. Cole silently downed the rest of his coffee. Then find someone else. They never focused on just one celebrity for an endorsement. If one fell through, they'd move on to the backup. The assistant nodded, making a note on his tablet. Mr. Wallace has scheduled a meeting with you for the day after tomorrow to discuss a partnership. The location is the Peninsula Hotel in the evening. The moment Cole heard in the evening, his brow furrowed. His evenings were important. He had to be home with his wife and child. Change the time, preferably at noon. I have things to do at home in the evening. Of course, I'll contact Mr. Wallace. Cole spent the entire morning dealing with business, not wasting a single second. The people around him were efficient, and he didn't have to worry too much. After a morning of handling documents, Cole stretched his stiff arms and stood up, walking to the floor-to-ceiling window of his office to look down at the people moving like mayflies below. A thought suddenly popped into his head. This is the kingdom I built. Cole walked around, testing the sofa in his office, looking at the arowana in the fish tank and the calligraphy hanging on the wall. It bore the seal of a master, looking very valuable. The office was large and included a break room. He opened the door to find it was just like a bedroom at home, with a bathroom, a bed, and a closet with a few changes of clothes. Cora must come here often, because there were few of her outfits and an unused package of sanitary pads in the closet. When he felt his energy flagging, Cole would take a walk outside the office. Everywhere he went, he was greeted with a chorus of "Hello, Mr. Miller." Hearing that title was like a shot of adrenaline. At noon, his assistant reminded him it was time for lunch. On the way to the restaurant, he received a message from Cora. "How's your first day back at work?" Seeing it, Cole called her directly. The call was answered quickly. Cora thought something might have happened on his end, her tone worried. "What's wrong? I just wanted to hear your voice." "I'm doing fine here. Everything's going smoothly. How about you?" A smile crept into Cora's voice. "I'm good here too. No problems at all." "Have you had lunch yet?" Cole asked. "Not yet. I was just about to." "What are you having?" "My assistant ordered me Cantonese food." "Then I'll have Cantonese food today too." Cole made up his mind and walked into the restaurant while still on the phone. His assistant, listening in, thought to himself, their relationship is as good as ever. After so many years, they're still as sweet as when they first started dating. The waiter brought the food. Cole opened his camera, found a good angle with nice lighting, and sent her a picture. "My lunch." A moment later, Cora sent a photo back. Cole's sharp eyes noticed a glass of juice next to her food. Judging by the condensation on the glass, it was a cold drink. "No iced drinks. Don't forget you're on your period." "It's hot today. My throat is so dry it feels like it's smoking." Cole ignored her whining, his tone firm. "It doesn't matter if it's hot. After your period is over, you can drink whatever you want. I can even make you a drink myself." "Fine. I'll just drink the brown sugar water you made me. But when my period is over, I want you to make me a cocktail." Cora was still very obedient when it came to Cole. She knew he was looking out for her. After hanging up, Cora sent another photo. "Look, these are the flowers you ordered." Cole opened the picture. The florist had arranged them beautifully. Next to the roses was a small card. "For my wife." Cole, a short and simple message, yet filled with deep love. After lunch, Cole received a call from the pet transport service. Realizing he didn't have much work in the afternoon, he decided to leave for the day. That was the good thing about being the boss, a flexible schedule. Cole picked up Daisy and took her for a bath and a checkup. Luckily, the vet found no serious illnesses. Considering Daisy's advanced age, the doctor prescribed some pet supplements like calcium tablets and fish oil, as well as deworming medication. After her bath, Daisy was a whole new dog, looking much younger and more energetic. Cole brought her home to get accustomed to the new environment. Daisy adapted well, showing no signs of stress. She sniffed around curiously, and after confirming that this was her room, she lay down on the floor. Cole filled her water bowl and gave her some treats. Daisy wasn't food aggressive. You could take food right out of her mouth and she wouldn't get angry. Cole combed her fur. "Daisy, this is your home now." Daisy was a huge hit in her new home. Eleanor put a solid gold dog tag around her neck. "Daisy is so cute," she said, petting her head. "Next time, I'll have a gold chain made for you." A solid gold dog chain was too extravagant. Cole quickly intervened. "Mom, let's be a little more low-key. If it's too flashy, dog thieves might notice her." That made sense. Eleanor nodded with regret. She had been thinking that her pearl necklace and jade necklace could also be worn by Daisy, but hearing Cole's words, she had to give up the idea. Robert, who had just woken up from his nap, saw the large dog in the yard and thought he was hallucinating. "Where did this dog come from?" Eleanor gave him a cold look. "You don't even recognize Daisy?" Robert was shocked. "This is Daisy? Isn't Daisy a yellowish-brown color? Did she fade?" "I took her for a bath," Cole explained. "Why did you bring Daisy here?" Robert asked. Eleanor's face fell. "Cole called me the night before last to say he was bringing Daisy over. And yesterday, when I bought all those pet supplies, were you blind? Did you not see them?" Robert knew he was in the wrong and spoke meekly. "I didn't see them. Besides, you never told me about this." Eleanor shot back sarcastically. "When old man Henderson asks you to go fishing, you can see that in the middle of the night." At first, Cole worried Robert wouldn't like Daisy, but the next second, he saw him crouch down and call the dog over. "Here, Daisy, come here. Let me see you." Daisy wagged her tail and went over, lying down obediently in front of him. Robert petted her as he checked her over. "You haven't lost weight. You look healthy. You could probably live for another 10 years. Daisy, this time you have to stay home, okay? No more running away like before. You're not young anymore. You should be enjoying your retirement at home, eating well. Don't worry, our whole family will be good to you. Leo thinks about you every day." Cole stood there, stunned. No wonder there was a pet room in the house. He had brought Daisy here to live with him before. From Robert's rambling monologue, Cole pieced together what had happened. Daisy was a country dog, raised by his grandmother. After his grandmother died, she had guarded her grave. Later, Cole brought her to Denver. Daisy couldn't adapt to the new environment. Missing his grandmother, she became depressed, either staring out the window or waiting by the door all day. She wouldn't eat and lost a lot of weight in just a few days. One time, she ran away. Cole had searched for a long time before he found her. When he found her, she was rummaging through a trash can. He thought she was looking for food, but she was looking for empty bottles. Seeing her with a plastic bottle in her mouth, Cole knew she missed his grandmother. Daisy couldn't bear to be away from her. She would rather sleep on a mountain guarding her grave than live in a big house. Perhaps thinking of the past, Eleanor looked at Daisy with a worried expression. What if Daisy refuses to eat and wants to leave again this time? Cole didn't have that memory. He didn't know how much Daisy had resisted being here. But based on the current situation, things were looking positive. He didn't want to send Daisy back. The conditions were poor, and she was old. But if she went on a hunger strike and insisted on returning, even at great risk, he couldn't force her to stay. Robert was trying his best to reason with Daisy. You have to eat well, sleep well, and not run around, you hear? Daisy wagged her tail. If you get skinny or get lost, your grandma will be very worried watching from heaven. At the mention of grandma, Daisy's reaction grew stronger. Her ears perked up, and she licked Robert's hand. From now on, you'll live here with us, okay? If you agree, shake hands. Daisy tilted her head, looking at the hand Robert had placed near her paw. Then, she lifted her paw and firmly pressed it down on his hand. Robert looked as if he'd discovered a new continent. His eyes lit up, and he immediately showed off. Did you see that? Daisy shook my hand. She agrees. To confirm the answer, Robert tried a method he'd learned from a TikTok video. Do you want to stay? Yes or no? He held out his left and right hands. Daisy chose the left. Daisy wants to stay. Robert grew even fonder of the dog, hugging her head and giving her a kiss. From now on, I'll be the one to walk her. Eleanor snorted. Fine. It's rare to see you so enthusiastic. From now on, you'll take Daisy for a walk in the afternoon and evening every day. You can get some exercise too. Daisy quickly integrated into her new environment and became the family's darling. Robert watched TV with her, Eleanor fed her snacks, and the passing housekeeper would stop to pet her. Cole recorded a video and sent it to Cora, telling her the new information he'd just learned. No wonder there's a pet room. I guess I brought Daisy here before. Dad and Mom said she wouldn't eat and kept trying to run away last time. She almost got lost once. I had no choice but to send her back, but I have a feeling she won't run this time. Cora didn't reply. She was still at work, and Cole guessed she was in a meeting. At 4:30 p.m., Cole went to pick up Leo from preschool. Daddy, where's Uncle Daisy? Leo looked left and right, but didn't see the dog, thinking his dad had hidden her. Daisy's at home. Leo pouted. Why didn't you bring her to pick me up? I was going to introduce her to my best friends. Leo's best friends were Dylan and a few others. He had been bragging at preschool for the past 2 days about his dog, whom he called his uncle. All the kids wanted to see her. She just got here, and she's tired. She's resting at home. Can I bring my friends to see her? Let's wait for the weekend. We need to let Daisy get used to the new environment for a couple of days. On the way home, Leo was full of questions about Daisy. When he saw a food truck selling savory crepes, he pointed, Daddy, can I buy a crepe? I want to bring it home for Uncle Daisy. He said it was for Daisy, but he had already swallowed a few times. All right, I'll park and we'll go buy one. It was the after-school rush, and there was a long line of students at the food truck. Cole held Leo's hand, and they waited. Under his son's adoring gaze, he ordered the works. The crepe was split into 2 portions. 5 years ago, a plain crepe cost $5. Now it was 10, and one with everything was 40, packed with ingredients. Cole used to love these too. When he was tired from work and didn't want to cook, he'd just grab a crepe from a street vendor. Here, you can eat. Cole handed one to Leo. Leo was clearly craving it, but he averted his eyes and pushed it away. This is for Uncle Daisy. I'm not eating it. There's too much. Your Uncle Daisy can't finish it all. Leo put on a serious face. Well, okay then. I'll reluctantly eat a little bit. But just so we're clear, you're the one who told me to eat it. It's not because I was hungry. When we get home, you can't tattle on me to Mommy. Cole held back a laugh. Okay, I won't tell on you. Only then did Leo take the crepe and start eating with a look of pure satisfaction. Is it good? It's delicious. Do you want some, Daddy? No, you have it. As he chewed, Leo asked, Daddy, does Uncle Daisy like crepes? He probably does. In Cole's memory, Daisy wasn't a picky eater. Back then, they didn't have dog food. She ate whatever his grandmother cooked. There was nothing his grandmother couldn't fatten up. The once scrawny Daisy had become glossy and plump under her care. A child's eyes are bigger than their stomach. After a few bites, Leo was full. When they got home, he hopped out of the car, carrying the crepe. His legs were short, but he ran fast. Cole followed behind him. Slow down. Leo, who had already run into the house, suddenly stopped. He seemed to see something and stared at it curiously, not daring to get closer. Why did he go in? Cole slowly walked inside. After passing the entryway, the view opened up, and he saw the back of a woman in a long blue dress on the sofa. Hearing his voice, she turned and gave him a faint smile. "Cole," she said softly, "long time no see." Leo looked at his dad, then at the strange woman. The little boy clutched his father's hand, a little shy. "Daddy, who is she?" "Jenna, Cora's own sister, Leo's aunt, and his first love." He wasn't entirely surprised to run into her. Eleanor had called to warn him the night before last, but he hadn't expected to see her so soon. He was completely unprepared, caught completely off guard. If it had been his first day here, knowing nothing, he might have made small talk with her. But now, knowing she had run out on their wedding, knowing the car crash was somehow tied to her, Cole's gaze was filled with suspicion and wariness. Jenna was stung by his guarded look. She stood up and smiled at Leo. "Leo, I'm your mommy's sister. That makes me your aunt. You and her dad." She looked at Cole's face, her voice a little hoarse. "You look so much alike." Jenna was much thinner. Cole's impression of her was still frozen 5 years ago, at their wedding. Back then, her face was healthy and radiant, full of the confidence and pride of a wealthy heiress. The Jenna of today looked more reserved and mature, her face pale, her eyes dull. Her smile was fake. Although she was 5 years younger than Cora, she now looked older. The last 5 years had changed everyone and everything. Leo tilted his head, studying Jenna. "So you're my aunt?" Jenna took 2 steps forward. "I am. Have you heard about me at home?" Leo nodded. "I heard Grandma and Grandpa talking about you. They said you were coming home soon." He asked again, "Auntie, do you know my dad?" "Of course I know your dad," Jenna said softly. "I even went to his wedding." "That's so cool. I wish I could have gone to my parents' wedding." "You were there. You were just in your mommy's tummy." Leo was a little shy at first, but once someone started talking to him, he quickly warmed up. He was a curious child. "How come I've never seen you before?" "Because I was abroad." Jenna moved closer, wanting to touch Leo's head. "Leo, go upstairs and play," Cole said, cutting her off. Leo shook his head. "I don't want to go up now. I want to talk to Annie and Uncle Daisy." "Daisy isn't home right now. Grandpa and Grandma took him for a walk. Go play with your toys in your room. I'll call you when Daisy gets back." Leo opened his mouth to say something else, but saw the serious expression on his father's face. "Be good." "Oh." Leo picked up his crepe and trudged upstairs, looking back at them again and again as he went. Jenna looked at Cole's face, her expression turning wistful. If she hadn't made that mistake back then, maybe her and Cole's child would be this old by now. In the past 5 years, not a day had gone by that Jenna didn't feel regret. She didn't dare look directly at Cole, afraid of the disgust she would see on his face. But she couldn't control her heart. She could only steal glances at him, tracing his features with her eyes, seeing how he had changed over the years. He was wary of her. Was he worried she would destroy his family or hurt his child? It seemed that the years hadn't faded his hatred for her. He still held what she had done against her. Jenna had returned suddenly, without telling anyone. The family's butler, Alfred, recognized her. He couldn't very well leave her standing outside. As soon as Jenna was inside, he had called Robert and Eleanor to let them know. But Cole had returned first. It was Leo's fault for running in so fast. Alfred hadn't had time to warn them. Now, watching Cole and Jenna face to face, Alfred was sweating bullets. The new maid had never seen Jenna before, but she could sense the tense atmosphere in the room. "Who's that?" she whispered. "I've never seen her before." "That's the second young miss." The maid covered her mouth. So this was Jenna Vance. She had heard some of the family gossip. For example, before marrying Cora, Cole had dated Jenna. They had even been engaged. The reason it was almost was because Jenna had run away on their wedding day. She had escaped, leaving behind a complete mess. That chapter should have been closed, but then she had returned on Cole and Cora's wedding day to try and win him back, even secretly drugging him. If Cole hadn't discovered it in time, the consequences would have been unthinkable. After that incident, Robert, in a fit of rage, had slapped her twice and forcibly sent her abroad. This woman was truly hopeless. When he wants to marry you, you run. When he's marrying someone else, you try to steal him back. Why'd she come back this time? Surely she wasn't still hung up on Cole? He was handsome, thoughtful, and doted on his wife, but he was her brother-in-law now. And it had been 4 years. She should have moved on. If she caused trouble again, it wouldn't just be for years abroad. She might never be allowed back. Thinking this, the maid clucked her tongue and continued to stare at Jenna, while discreetly pulling out her phone to tip off Cora. Jenna couldn't stand Cole's cold attitude. Their relationship had once been so intimate. She remembered the first time she had held his hand. His fingers were long, his palm warm. Back then, she had been undergoing treatment in the hospital with an endless series of 4 drips. Her hands were always cold. When she grabbed his hand, it felt warmer than the heating pack by her side. When she was in a wheelchair, unable to stand, he was the one who pushed her outside, sat with her in the sun, and flew kites with her. She had a difficult personality and always made unreasonable demands, but he always managed to fulfill them. Wontons from West Street, buns from East Street, noodles from North Street, rice noodles from South Street. If she wanted it, he would bring it to her, even in the rain or snow. When the doctors said her legs would never recover, only Cole believed in her. He accompanied her to surgery and physical therapy, massaging her legs every day. She had grown accustomed to his presence, become dependent on him. After her legs recovered, she confessed her feelings to him. To her surprise, he rejected her. At the time, she had been fired up. The more he rejected her, the more persistent she became, even causing a scene at his company, getting everyone to help her. The day Cole accepted her confession, she hugged him and kissed him. She could still remember the feeling of that kiss, the tickle of his stubble on her chin. Cole's embrace was warm, like a personal heater in winter. He didn't wear cologne, just a clean scent of soap and shampoo. After all these years, Cole was even more handsome, more mature. Money changes a man. Now, a multi-millionaire CEO, he carried an air of sophistication. Jenna was not as calm as she appeared. Her phone held over 1,000 photos of Cole. Some were saved from financial news articles. Others she had paid someone to take secretly. There were photos of him picking up his son from school and of him dropping Cora off at work. Their family of 3 looked so happy. So many people envied them. Only she was jealous. She was jealous that the person standing next to him wasn't her, that the person he married and had a child with wasn't her. Everyone thought she had come back because she had moved on, but only she knew that her heart was stirring. Their eyes met, and alarm bells went off in Cole's head. Why is she looking at me like that? What is she thinking? What does she want? Cole, how'd you been all these years? I've been great. Cole was completely detached. The overt hatred he'd felt 4 years ago was gone, which, to Jenna, seemed like a good thing. I've always wanted to talk to you, but I never found the chance. We have nothing to talk about, and it's not appropriate for us to talk. Why not? No matter what, I'm your sister-in-law now. It's not good for a family to be so strained, is it? Even distant relatives visit each other, let alone us. Learning from past mistakes, Jenna didn't dare reveal her true feelings. She had to pretend not to care, just to have a chance to get close to him. Cole remained impassive. It would be a lie to say he wasn't nervous at all. He had nothing to say to Jenna, and he was afraid that if he said too much, he would slip up. Thankfully, at that moment, Cora called. Cole immediately stepped aside to answer. Honey, what's up? Thank God for his wife. The moment he heard Cora's voice, Cole relaxed completely. A light shimmered in his eyes, and the corners of his mouth lifted into an involuntary smile. Honey, did you pick up Leo? Cora's voice came through the phone. Yes, he's back. And Daisy? I saw the video you sent me. How is she settling in? Is Leo playing with her now? No, Mom and Dad took Daisy out for a walk. Do we have company? Cole was just trying to figure out how to tell her Jenna was back when she asked. How did you know? Cora snorted softly. Of course, someone tipped me off. Cole's eyes darted around the room and landed on the maid, who was hiding in the kitchen, watching them. Perhaps sensing his tension, Cora soothed him over the phone. It's okay. Just avoid her for now. I'll be home soon. When will you be home? Cole asked. I'm on my way now. I'm feeling a little dizzy today. Do you have a cold? The temperature had been fluctuating lately, and on top of that, Cora was on her period, making her more vulnerable. I'll take you to the hospital, he said, his voice tight with concern. Cora laughed lightly. No need for a hospital. I'm just lovesick. I need your kisses to cure me. Her teasing almost made him forget Jenna was standing right there. A goofy, priceless grin spread across his face. I miss you too. Cora lowered her voice. How much? Don't tell me it's the X-rated kind of missing. An image from last night flashed in Cole's mind. He tugged at his tie. You guessed it. After talking to Cora, Cole's mood lifted immediately. Even his gaze toward Jenna lost some of its wariness. While Cole was on the phone, Jenna stood by and watched. She couldn't hear the voice on the other end, but from Cole's expression and his replies, she could guess. After all these years, is he still so in love with Cora? He was completely ignoring her, flaunting his happy marriage. When she heard Cole say the words, I miss you too, her heart clenched violently. Jenna balled her fists, her nails digging into her palms. She had prepared herself before coming back, but seeing Cole, she realized all her efforts had been in vain. For her, the most painful thing in the world was that everything he had given her and everything he hadn't, he had given to someone else. She didn't know what she had left to win. Jenna suppressed the turmoil inside her, keeping her voice steady. Cole, can I talk to you alone? I don't want to talk to you. I have to go help my son with his homework now. He said, don't want. No, I don't have time. A firm, clear rejection. Jenna was stunned. She stepped forward, not giving up. What kind of homework does a preschooler have? Sorry, my son loves to learn. He needs my help every day. With that, Cole turned and walked upstairs without a backward glance. Jenna watched his back until he disappeared from sight. Then she turned, her eyes brimming with resentment and anger. Fearing her emotions would betray her, she quickly lowered her gaze. Cora must have said something to him on the phone just now. That's why he's avoiding me. It must be. Cole was supposed to be her boyfriend, her fiancé, grandparents, the company, her parents. Cora already had so much. Why did she have to steal Cole from her too? All she wanted now was to exchange a few simple words with him. Was even that not allowed? Jenna suddenly looked up at the security camera in the living room, her eyes filled with malice. On the other side of the camera, Cora held her phone, meeting Jenna's gaze in a silent showdown. Cole found Leo in the pet room upstairs. What are you doing in here? I'm getting food ready for Uncle Daisy. Leo was sitting on the floor, tearing the crepe from the bag into small pieces and putting them in a bowl. He even used the vegetables from inside as a garnish. Daddy, is Annie staying here tonight? I don't know. How long is she staying? I don't know. Leo got angry and stood up. Daddy, how come you don't know anything? Cole had no reply. He really didn't know anything. Whether it was the Jenna from 5 years ago or the Jenna of today, his understanding of her was too shallow. It was as if he had never known her at all. He really wanted to ask her why she had run away from their wedding. He wanted to know if the car crash and his grandmother's death had anything to do with her. He didn't hold any lingering feelings for Jenna. He just didn't understand. It was like getting an exam back and trying to figure out why he'd gotten a question wrong. He wasn't conceited enough to think Jenna was still in love with him, but the way she had looked at him earlier was far from innocent. Cole decided it was best to avoid her from now on, to have as little contact as possible, and never to be alone with her. Downstairs, not long after Cole had left, Robert and Eleanor returned with Daisy. Having received a call from the butler beforehand, they were both calm when they saw Jenna. Dad, Ma, why did you come back so suddenly? You didn't even call us beforehand, Eleanor said. Jenna replied smoothly, it was a last-minute decision. I thought you would be home at this time. Eleanor saw Leo's backpack by the door. Did you see Leo? I did. He's very cute. Look at your nephew. He's so big already, Eleanor probed. When are you getting married? Have you met anyone you like all these years? It was a question disguised as a warning. Jenna scoffed internally, but her face remained placid. I have. We've been dating for a month. He's busy these days, but when he's free, I'll bring him home for you to meet. Eleanor looked at her incredulously, instinctively believing she was lying. Do you have a picture? Let me see. Jenna was prepared. She opened her phone's photo album, found a picture, and handed it to her mother. Here. Eleanor studied it. He looks all right in the photo. What does he do? What's his family background? Is he a good person? He's currently working abroad. Eleanor was skeptical, but she didn't want to say too much. All right, find some time to bring him home. Your father, and I will take a good look. Jenna put her phone away and saw Robert holding Daisy's leash. Isn't that Cole's dog, Daisy? When did you bring her over? She just arrived today. How do you know her? I've been to Cole's hometown before. Jenna crouched down and reached out to pet the dog. Daisy, do you still remember me? Daisy was good-natured. She sat on the floor and wagged her tail. Robert hadn't said a word to Jenna since he'd come in. Those two slaps had created a rift between father and daughter, shattering their relationship. For years, Robert had ignored her, even telling others to pretend he didn't have this daughter. If he had to say which daughter Robert and Eleanor Vance had loved more growing up, it would have to be Jenna. She had been by their side since birth, unlike Cora, who was sent to live with her grandparents at the age of 1. Because of their different upbringings, the two girls developed wildly different personalities. Cora was introverted, steady, and resilient. Anything entrusted to her, she accomplished perfectly. Jenna, on the other hand, couldn't bear the hardship of dance lessons, practiced piano sporadically, and had no talent for painting. In the end, her only option was to focus on her studies, but even then, she got caught up in romances and secretly went skydiving with a boy, nearly crippling herself in the process. Compared to Cora, Jenna had always had it too easy. She was self-important, blissfully unaware of the world's harsh realities, and believed everyone should cater to her. In the past, Robert had figured that with Cora to anchor the family business, it didn't matter that Jenna wasn't cut out for it. If she wanted to play, let her play. They certainly had the money to support her. Now, he regretted it deeply. If he had been stricter, more demanding back then, perhaps Jenna wouldn't have become so utterly selfish. Now that Cora and Cole were so happy together, he, as their father, would absolutely not allow anyone to destroy it, not even his younger daughter. Robert lowered his gaze to where Jenna was squatting on the floor, petting the dog. You should have found a boyfriend and gotten married a long time ago. Jenna's hand froze. She forced a stiff smile. Yeah, you're right. If getting married was the only way to get close to Cole, then she would get married. She looked up. Dad, if I get married, can I come back and live here? Robert's brow furrowed, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. He couldn't be blamed for his wariness. Jenna had a record. That's how it was with people. Once trust was broken, you became suspicious of everything they did. You and Mom are getting older. I want to spend more time with you, Jenna said, standing up. I've changed. I won't make the same mistakes again. I even had a nice chat with my brother-in-law today. She used to despise the words brother-in-law, flying into a rage at the mere mention. Now, she could say them herself, her expression perfectly natural. Eleanor asked, what did you and your brother-in-law talk about? Not much, just a little about Leo. By the way, where's my sister? Jenna asked. She should just be getting off work, Eleanor advised her. When you see your sister, be nice. I feel like her attitude toward you has softened a lot these past couple of days. Eleanor prayed for harmony, for a sense of family completeness. You two are sisters. If we're gone one day, you'll need each other for support. Jenna hugged her. Mom, don't say things like that. You and Dad will live for a very long time. Robert, standing nearby, scoffed. Our lifespan depends on your attitude. If you behave, your mother and I might live to be 100. If you refuse to change, I doubt I'll make it through next year. Oh, hush, Eleanor said, swatting him playfully. Where did your brother-in-law go? He went upstairs, said he was going to help Leo with his homework. Then let's go see. Are you coming? I'll stay down here. I'll play with Daisy, Jenna said, squatting again. Daisy shake. Daisy lifted her left paw and placed it in her hand. Jenna stroked her ear. Good girl. Eleanor tugged her husband's hand. Let's go. As soon as they left, Jenna stroked Daisy's chin. If only your master were as obedient as you. Daisy, lying on the floor, twitched her nose, then suddenly shot up, looking behind Jenna. Woof! With a single bark, Cora appeared in the foyer. Daisy, come here. The previously listless dog was suddenly electrified, her tail wagging furiously. Just as she was about to bound toward Cora, Jenna instinctively tightened her grip on the dog's collar, her fingers clenching. Daisy whined, unable to break free, twisting her neck violently, even baring her teeth as if to bite Jenna's hand. Seeing those teeth, Jenna's face went pale, and she immediately let go. Freed, Daisy trotted happily to Cora's side, flopped on her back at her feet, and exposed her vulnerable belly, begging for affection. Cora crouched down, rubbing the dog's belly and head. Did you miss me? I missed you too. Although Jenna was desperately suppressing her emotions, the scene in front of her made her eyes redden. Love and the lack of it were obvious at a glance, whether in a dog or a person. Cora looked up at Jenna, and a film reel of memories flickered through her mind. While she and Jenna had never been the picture of sisterly devotion, they had managed to coexist peacefully over the years. Their parents were always working, so busy that when Jenna had parent-teacher conferences, it was Cora who took time off to go to the school for her. In high school, when Jenna was failing math, it was Cora who tutored her and organized her study materials. After the SATs, Cora helped her estimate her scores and strategize her college applications. In some ways, Jenna had relied on her heavily. So when did their relationship begin to change? It was after the accident that shattered Jenna's legs. Jenna was only 21 when it happened. Both her legs suffered comminuted fractures. The surgery was complex, with a low chance of success. During her treatment, doctors warned that a full recovery was unlikely, that she might never walk again. The stark contrast between her old life and this new reality caused a complete mental breakdown. She would scream hysterically in her hospital room, smashing everything within reach. Then, at some point, a layer of malice began to color the way Jenna looked at her. Eleanor hoped they could reconcile and be like they were before, but that was clearly impossible. From the moment she walked in today, Cora knew that Jenna's animosity had only grown, not diminished. She had seen it clearly on the security footage. As Cole took a phone call, Jenna stood a short distance behind him, motionless, staring at him like a viper poised to strike from the undergrowth. It reminded her of 7 years ago. She had been at the hospital with Jenna for her surgery when Cole came to drop off some files for her. bringing a container of food he'd packed as well. When Jenna saw him, she asked, "Who is he?" "He's my assistant, Cole Miller." "Sister, I want him. Can you let him be my caregiver, please? If he takes care of me, I promise I'll cooperate with the treatment." Since they were children, Jenna had always used any means necessary to get what she wanted: tantrums, histrionics, throwing herself on the floor in front of their parents. With her legs broken, their parents pitied her and would grant her any wish within their power. Hiring a caregiver was a trivial matter for the Vance family. There was nothing money couldn't solve. Cole happened to be in desperate need of money. After a few days of consideration, he agreed. When Cora learned that Cole was going to be Jenna's caregiver, a sharp, acidic pang struck her heart. It was fleeting, so quick she couldn't grasp it, and she dismissed it as a figment of her imagination. But when she saw Cole bringing Jenna lunch, delivering soup, the feeling returned. She didn't understand why it bothered her so much. After much thought, she attributed it to habit. Cole was a good employee, an excellent assistant. It was only natural that she would feel his absence. It was like the rag doll her grandmother had made for her as a child. She had to hug it every night to fall asleep. Then one day, Jenna broke it. She lost her doll, and that night, she suffered from insomnia. A person can grow accustomed to relying on someone, just as they can slowly learn to be independent. Just as she eventually no longer needed the rag doll, and her insomnia faded. She admired Cole's work ethic. During the time he was caring for Jenna, she kept his position open for him, paying his salary on time every month, allowing him to draw two incomes. She sometimes wondered, if Cole hadn't needed the money back then, would he have refused to become Jenna's caregiver? Jenna was not an easy person to be around. She was riddled with bad habits. She was decent enough with family, but with Cole, she unleashed the full force of her temper. Jenna had said it herself back then. "Sister, I've never met anyone as easy to bully as Cole. No matter how much I hit him or yell at him, he never gets angry. Since he's been around, my mood has improved so much. I wish he could stay by my side forever." Jenna would often call to share stories about her and Cole. What he cooked that day, what soup he made, how he took her outside to sunbathe, fly a kite, play games, play chess. It was all so mundane, yet every time, Cora would stop her work and listen intently. Eventually, Jenna's legs healed, and Cole returned to his position as her assistant. Everything seemed to have returned to its proper place. Then one day, Jenna came to her. "Sister, please help me. Give this love letter to Cole for me. I like him. Can you give him a day off so he can go on a date with me? I want to go to the beach with him. Cole's hometown is so remote, surrounded by mountains. I met his grandmother. His family raises so much livestock and it stinks. And they have this dirty mutt. Sister, Cole finally agreed to be my boyfriend. From now on, he's your brother-in-law. You have to take good care of him. Sister, Cole is going to be part of our family. Aren't you happy? The place Cole lives is so filthy. I went once and never want to go back. When we get married, I'll just have him move in with us. The more, the merrier. Sister, I'm planning on marrying Cole. Are you happy for me? As my sister, you have to help me with the planning." The constant chirping of sister grated on her nerves. At the time, Cora didn't know what was irritating her. To suppress the agitation, she buried herself in work, having her secretary pack her schedule, especially in the days leading up to the wedding. Only now, all these years later, did Cora finally understand the source of her agitation. It was resentment, envy, jealousy. It was the belated ache of regret. Cora was slow to recognize certain emotions in herself, like a quiet, dry well. Then one day, a storm came, and the surface rippled with life. She thought the single biggest regret of her life was asking Cole to deliver those files to the hospital. If Jenna had never seen him, he never would have become her caregiver, and he never would have become her boyfriend. Cora pulled her thoughts back to the present. She stood up, meeting Jenna's gaze across the room. "When did you get back?" "Yesterday." "Why didn't you come home yesterday?" "I was meeting up with an old friend." "Have you been well, living abroad, all these years?" The two exchanged questions and answers. If you ignore their expressions, you might mistake them for two close sisters. Jenna's face was placid. "What do you think?" she said, her eyes drifting to the ring on Cora's right ring finger. It was elegant and simple, set with a single, understated diamond, perfect for daily wear at the office. But to Jenna, the sight of it was like a needle prick. For years, she had been plagued by restless days and sleepless nights. How could Cora be so calm, acting as if nothing had ever happened? Jenna smiled faintly. Life abroad can't compare to being home, of course. I didn't know anyone. I didn't speak the language. I couldn't even get a decent meal. But it's fine now. I can finally come home to a full table. I had the chef make plenty of dishes. You can take your time eating tonight, Cora said, her tone polite but distant. I'm going upstairs to change. Make yourself at home. She walked ahead, Daisy trotting at her heels. The woman and her dog moved past Jenna without a single glance in her direction. Jenna's eyes darkened, her fists clenching at her sides. Just as Cora reached the top of the stairs, she saw Cole and her son coming out of the pet room. "Mommy!" Leo stretched out his arms and ran toward her on his chubby little legs. Cora was about to crouch down to catch him, but he swerved at the last second and hugged the dog instead. "Uncle Daisy, I missed you." Daisy had just had a bath and still smelled fragrant. Leo hugged him and planted a few kisses on his fur before finally remembering his mother. "Mommy, when did you get back?" "Just now." Cora feigned jealousy. "Remember me now, do you? I thought you'd forgotten all about me now that you have Daisy." Leo took her hand placatingly. "I didn't forget. I'll always love Mommy. I love Mommy the most. Mommy, hold me." Cora happily scooped him up. "Mommy loves you too." Cole walked over and gently pulled Leo from her arms. "Down you go. You're a big boy now. You can't have Mommy carry you all the time. She's had a long day at work and doesn't have the extra energy to carry you." Cora, who worked out religiously every week, felt that carrying a child was hardly a strain. "Big boys can't be carried." Cole, not yet realizing the trap he was walking into, nodded. "That's right. Then why does Daddy carry Mommy all the time? Mommy's so much bigger than me, and you still carry her." Cora hadn't expected the attack to be aimed at her. She stared at the ceiling. "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm going to my room to rest." Cole patted Leo's head. "Take your Uncle Daisy back to the pet room." "Okay, come on, Uncle Daisy, let's go. I bought you a savory crepe today. It's delicious." As soon as the child was gone, Cole took Cora's hand, his thumb gently stroking the ring on her finger. "Let's go to our room." The moment they were inside, Cole pressed her against the door and began to kiss her, his tongue sweeping past her lips, tracing the line of her teeth. The door behind her was cool, his body in front of her was scorching hot. Cora couldn't help but lean into him, her arms wrapping tightly around his neck. She yielded to his pressure, her head tilting back as he kissed her, like a small tree swaying in a storm. Just as she reached up to push him away, he broke the kiss, his thumb gently caressing her reddened lips. Did that achieve the desired detoxifying effect? Cora was breathing heavily. Not quite. The doctor said 3 times a day, for half an hour each time. "Can we accumulate them? 1 session, 2 hours. Why the extra half hour?" "That's my service fee." With that, Cole leaned in again, his movements bold, his passion a surging torrent. One hand hooked around her waist, the other cradled the back of her head. They moved from the door to the sofa, where he lay back, pulling her on top of him, letting her set the pace. After what felt like an eternity, Cora collapsed against his shoulder, begging for mercy. "I can't. I'm done." Cole's kisses made her heart clench, her usually sharp mind turning to empty space. "It's so hot. I want to take a shower and change." While Cora showered, Cole sat on the sofa to catch his breath. The sound of the water filled the room, growing louder, as if pouring directly into his mind until it threatened to overflow. Cora was showering in the bathroom, and from her vantage point, she could see Cole's silhouette. "Did Jenna say anything to you?" Cole recounted what had happened. "She wanted to talk to me alone. I refused." Cora had seen it all on the security camera. She was more concerned about her parents' attitude than Jenna's. "Did my parents say anything to you when they got home?" Cole answered with his back to her. "No. Whatever they say, just stay silent. Don't make any decisions until we figure out what's going on." Their lack of memory didn't mean nothing had happened. Cora voiced her thoughts. "Knowing my mom and dad, they would never have sent Jenna abroad for no reason. Mom has always spoiled Jenna rotten, and Dad is extremely rational and calm when it comes to major decisions. For both of them to agree on something like that, Jenna must have done something incredibly serious." Cora couldn't help but wonder what kind of mistake could have driven her parents to such a drastic measure. Jenna had been sent away shortly after her own wedding to Cole. Countless possibilities flashed through her mind. If it was something even her parents couldn't accept, then she certainly wouldn't be able to. After her shower, Cora changed into a set of pajamas. The high-collared blouse she'd worn during the day was replaced by a looser top that exposed her neck. The love bites hadn't faded yet. Faint red bruises were still visible. "You're going out like that?" "Why not?" It was a long-sleeved shirt and pants, nothing as revealing as the nightgowns in her closet. It was perfectly acceptable to wear in front of her parents. "I've always dressed like this at home. It should be fine." "The clothes are fine," Cole said, his fingers tracing the marks on her neck. "Should we cover that up?" "Ow! With a bandage? Wouldn't that be even more obvious?" Cora grabbed his hand. "Mom and Dad know we're happy. They won't think anything of it if they see." As for Leo, he's just a kid. He'll think it's a big mosquito bite. Cora was right. When they went downstairs, Leo saw her neck and said, "Mommy, did a big mosquito bite you again?" The fact that he said again was telling. Cole really didn't know when to exercise restraint. She shot him a reproachful look. Cole caught her glance and lowered his head, a little sheepish. "So don't talk about it. Promise Daddy you won't tell anyone Mommy got bitten by a big mosquito." "Why?" Cole, right in front of Cora, spun a bald-faced lie. "Because Mommy doesn't want people to worry about her. If you keep saying Mommy has mosquito bites on her neck, she won't be able to wear her dresses anymore." "Okay, I won't say anything." Leo clenched his little fists, looking determined. "But why does that mean big mosquito only bite Mommy? That mosquito is so bad. Daddy, can you buy a bottle of extra-strength bug spray online? Then Mommy won't get bitten anymore. I don't know what kind of big mosquito it is, but it's around all year." Cole was speechless. He wouldn't dare buy it. He was afraid of poisoning himself. In truth, it wasn't entirely Cole's fault. Cora was just too good at seducing him, always tempting him into doing things he couldn't resist. Plus, her skin was so fair and delicate that the slightest touch left a red mark. By the time he realized it, it was already too late. The chef brought the finished dishes to the table, and Eleanor called out, "Dinner's ready." Leo was the first to the table. He surveyed the spread before his eyes locked onto the sweet and sour ribs. "Mommy, I want sweet and sour ribs." The family took their seats. Eleanor gestured to Jenna. "Jenna, come sit next to me." "Okay." Jenna walked over, her expression serene. She glanced at Cole, seated on the opposite side. When she used to bring Cole home for dinner, he always sat beside her. Now he was by Cora's side, on the opposing team. Cora sat down and placed a rib in Leo's bowl. The table was laden with food, dishes from the sea and the land. It was the perfect season for crawfish, plump and tender. Cole expertly pulled on a pair of gloves and began to peel them. After piling a small plate high, he pushed it directly in front of Cora. Jenna stared at the plate of crawfish, dazed, once again uncontrollably swept back into the past. A dense, sharp pain pricked at her heart, and the hand holding her chopsticks began to tremble. Cole knew Cora loved crawfish, so he kept feeding her, occasionally popping one into Leo's mouth. "Thanks, honey," Cora said, gathering her hair up, inadvertently revealing the marks on her neck. Jenna's pupils constricted. Her gaze sharpened into a blade, as if wanting to carve out that patch of skin on Cora's neck. She banished the image of Cole and Cora being intimate in some hidden corner, fighting to keep her expression neutral. But the tightening grip on her chopsticks betrayed her. Eleanor placed a peeled crawfish on Jenna's plate. "Eat. Why aren't you moving? I thought crawfish was your favorite." The sisters had similar tastes. They both loved crawfish in the summer. Jenna picked up the piece of crawfish from her plate. The food she once loved now tasted like wax in her mouth. "Is it good?" Eleanor watched her. She replied drily, "It's delicious. I never had anything this good when I was abroad." "Then eat more." Eleanor added more food to her plate. Suddenly, Jenna picked up her wine glass and stood. "Sister, brother-in-law, this is for you. I want to apologize for the mistakes I made when I was young and foolish. I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me." Her abrupt gesture stunned everyone at the table. The atmosphere instantly became quiet and awkward. Cora, nibbling on a piece of crawfish, looked up at her coolly. Cole, after a brief pause, continued peeling. The only person in the room who seemed to be taking her seriously was Leo, who watched her intently. Seeing no reaction from the couple across from her, Jenna tightened her grip on the glass. "I'm sorry. I won't make the same mistakes again. Can you give me another chance?" Cora savored the phrase she had used. Won't make the same mistakes again. What exactly did same mean? Cora took a sip of soup and spoke slowly. An apology isn't a transaction for forgiveness. Apologizing is your business. Forgiving is mine. And frankly, forgiving you wouldn't make me happy. So why would I do something that doesn't make me happy? Jenna subconsciously bit her lower lip. She had summoned an immense amount of courage to stand up and say those words, only to be met with this. Cora's response was a sharp slap across her face. Humiliation burned through her, and she desperately wanted to turn and leave. She didn't understand. It had been so many years. Did Cora really need to hold on to the past like this? She already had everything. Why couldn't she just be a little more magnanimous? Jenna looked to Cole for help, but he didn't even raise his head. He kept peeling crawfish and said, "What Cora said goes for me, too." Accepting an apology was one thing. Forgiveness was another. Until they understood the full story, they wouldn't be making any choices. Jenna's fingers dug into her palms, the placid expression on her face nearly cracking. Finally, Robert couldn't stand it anymore. Let's not talk about this at the dinner table. It's ruining everyone's appetite. Jenna raised her glass, drained it in one gulp, and sat back down. The feast before her was now impossible to swallow. She wasn't ready to give up. She had to find an opportunity, a crack to slip through. The air was thick with tension. To ease it, Eleanor asked, "When did you get to Denver?" "I arrived yesterday." "Why didn't you come home then?" "I met up with an old friend and had someone clean up my place in Cherry Creek." Jenna decided to work on her mother. "Mom, can I stay here for a couple of days? My place hasn't been lived in for so long. It has a smell. I can stay and chat with you, go shopping, get her nails done." "Please." In the past, Eleanor would have agreed instantly to such a plea. But now, she had to consider the feelings of others. This wasn't just her house anymore. Cole and Cora had their own home, but had been living with them for years, mostly because they knew her and Robert couldn't bear to be away from Leo and Cora. Eleanor sighed. "We don't have any spare rooms." "How can that be?" The house was enormous. She had lived here for over a decade. How could there be no room for her? Before Jenna could finish, Eleanor cut her off. "You can stay in a hotel. Or, if you must, I have an apartment on Mayfield Road." Robert spoke up as well. "Do as your mother says." Jenna had always been afraid of her father. Her silence was her consent. Leo, gnawing on a rib, quietly observed everything. Children are sensitive to their surroundings. When the adults were talking, he listened without interrupting. "Daddy, I need a wet wipe." Cole took off his gloves and pulled one out for him. "Here." Leo took it, wiped his mouth and hands. "I'm full." "Then go play." "Okay." Leo hopped down from his chair and went to find Daisy, dangling a toy in front of him. "Daddy, when we go for a walk later, can we take Uncle Daisy with us?" "You'll have to ask him." Leo got on all fours like a dog. "Uncle Daisy, would you like to go for a walk with me?" "If you agree, shake." Daisy placed his paw in Leo's hand. He said yes. "Then get the leash ready and grab some plastic bags and tissues." Leo did as his father instructed, putting everything into a small backpack. "Daddy, I'm ready. When can we go?" "Hang on, don't rush me." Cole took a towel from Maria and stood up. "Mom, Cora and I are going to take Leo for a walk." "All right, you go ahead." Cole held his son's hand with one hand and Cora's with the other. Under Eleanor's watchful eye, they left the dining room. Jenna also put down her utensils. Eleanor looked at her. "You're done eating too?" "Yeah, I'm full. I had a coffee before I came, so I wasn't very hungry." Eleanor asked, "Do you want to go for a walk?" Her tone was a bit tight, as if trying to prevent her from disturbing the others. "Do you really have to be so careful with me?" Jenna scoffed internally. "I think I'll stay in. I've been walking all day, and I'm tired. I'll keep you company here." Jenna stood. "Mom, I'm going to go up to the terrace for a bit." "Go ahead. I'll come up in a little while." Eleanor grew a lot of succulents on the terrace. Under the lights, they were all plump and full. It was that time of year, hot during the day and cool at night. The evening breeze was pleasant against her skin. Jenna leaned on the railing, looking down, and easily spotted Cole and his family. Cora had her arm linked through his. She must have said something, because a brilliant smile spread across Cole's face. A second later, when the child wasn't looking, he quickly stole a kiss on Cora's cheek. The street light shone down on them, their shadows on the ground pressed tightly together. A heavy tightness coiled in her chest, suffocating her. Jenna's hand flew to the necklace under her collar, her eyes instantly turning red. The past was a knife, carving her up piece by piece. It hurt so much, yet she couldn't stop herself from remembering. Hanging from the necklace was a ring Cole had made by hand. It wasn't valuable, but it was filled with his care and effort. His hand had bled while he was making it. The ring, which should have been thrown in the trash, was something she had found and kept, wearing it around her neck all these years, pressed against her heart. Back when she was chasing him, she had been just like Cora, always clinging to him, finding any excuse for physical contact just to see him flustered. But Cole had seen right through her little games. His expression was always one of weary resignation, as if he were looking at a petulant child. Jenna hadn't even liked Cole at first. Aside from his face, there was nothing about him she found appealing. He had no money, no connections, and a personality so dull it bored her. It was a rule in their world. The wealthy married the wealthy. The man she was meant to marry would naturally come from a family on par with hers. She couldn't marry down. In their circle, marrying a country boy would make her a laughingstock. So, her interest in Cole had been a whim, and a game aimed at Cora. Ever since they were children, Jenna had been jealous of Cora. Jealous that her grades were better, that she was prettier, that she was more accomplished, that she was more likable. No one ever disliked Cora. Cora was always the perfect child, everyone else's parents compared their own to. Every time they went out, someone would inevitably draw a comparison between them. At first, she could tolerate it, but after her accident, a group of people came to the hospital under the guise of concern, just to gossip and make snide remarks, frequently mentioning her injured legs. How did you get hurt so badly? Is it going to be hard to walk again? Don't give up. Your family is rich. It's not like they can't afford to support you. Modern medicine is amazing. If it comes to it, you can always get prosthetics. One day, she opened her phone and looked at a group chat. The people in it seemed to have forgotten she was a member. Jenna could never compete with her sister before. Now, with a broken leg, she's completely useless. A cripple. She used to be so arrogant. Now, she can't even speak up for herself. They have the same parents. How can two people turn out so different? Jenna said nothing. She just quietly left the group. From then on, she would overanalyze every word, every glance from others. The gap between her and Cora widened. She envied her, she was jealous of her, and she hated how unfair the world was. Why did it have to be her legs that were broken? Extreme insecurity can make a person incredibly rude. She was filled with malice toward Cora, always looking for a way to one-up her. But she knew she had nothing that could surpass her. Until one day, Cole appeared. She noticed Cora's unusual attitude toward him, especially when she accepted the lunch container from his hands. Cora had tasted every delicacy imaginable. The family chef was highly paid, preparing meals that were not only delicious but also nutritionally balanced. Yet here she was, savoring a simple, ordinary meal Cole had made, eating with an almost unladylike gusto. And when she asked, "Who is he?" she saw Cora hesitate. She had rarely seen such an expression on Cora's face. The last time was when they were kids, and she had secretly broken her ragdoll. Jenna felt as if she had discovered a monumental secret, her chest heaving with excitement. She had finally found a way to beat Cora. From that day forward, she began looking for opportunities to get closer to Cole. To snatch him away from Cora, she cried and threw tantrums in front of her parents, declaring that if Cole didn't take care of her, she would refuse all treatment. Her parents, hearts aching for her, agreed without a second thought. They paid to hire Cole as her caregiver. She made Cole cook for her, make soup, pick up her takeout, and stand in long lines to buy things for her from faraway shops. Cole had a good temper. No matter how unreasonable the request, he would fulfill it. When Cora was present, she would order him around constantly, feeding her, massaging her, helping her turn over, carrying her to the bathroom, wiping her face and hands, forcing Cora to watch as she stole him away. Cole was diligent. While taking care of her, he also provided emotional support, playing games with her, playing chess, taking her downstairs to fly kites and get some sun, feeding stray cats. Gradually, Cora's visits to the hospital became less frequent, from once a day to once every 3 days, and then to once a week. When Cora didn't come, Jenna would proactively contact her, calling and texting, sharing intimate-sounding stories about herself and Cole. Under Cole's care, her legs slowly recovered. She progressed from slow walking to running, a process that took nearly a year. Cole then returned to his job as Cora's assistant. Seeing the smile on Cora's face was like a dagger in Jenna's eye, and she began to pursue Cole with dramatic flair. She didn't care that people in her circle were secretly mocking her. All she wanted was to win against Cora just once. That was all. She chased him from the company all the way to his hometown. She watched Cole harvesting wheat in the fields, saw him shirtless, drying the grain under the glaring sun. It beat down on him, tanning his skin a shade darker, sweat dripping from his body. Jenna, afraid of the heat and getting a tan, wore a portable fan around her neck and was covered from head to toe in UV protective clothing. She tried to help him dry the grain, but was exhausted after just a few minutes and retreated to rest in the shade. Cole's grandmother was a 75-year-old woman with sallow skin and brown age spots on her cheeks. When she smiled, the wrinkles around her eyes deepened, like the creased newsprint used to wrap flowers in a shop. The ugliest part was her hands, rough palms, covered in calluses, the lines on her fingers stained dark. She was thin but surprisingly strong, able to carry 2 large baskets of wheat on her shoulders, her steps steady. Unlike Jenna, who struggled just to walk up a small incline, Cole's grandmother raised a lot of poultry. The house smelled strongly as soon as you entered. The first day, Jenna almost couldn't stand it and wanted to leave. It took a long time to convince herself to stay. It smelled, but at least the house was clean. Sunlight streamed in, illuminating the large homemade rolls on the dining table, the steaming pot roast, the chicken and dumpling soup, the fried catfish, and the collard greens. The old woman looked at her, a little shy, and offered her a roll. "Eat," Jenna was always watching her weight, strictly controlling her carb intake. She almost never ate rolls. Plus, she found the old woman's hands a bit dirty, so she didn't take it. Cole, standing beside her, saved the situation. Grandma, she doesn't eat rolls. What about rice? Jenna shook her head. How can you not eat? You'll be hungry later. Grandma, you eat. Don't worry about her. Cole handed her a new pair of chopsticks from a wrapper. Use these. Jenna took the chopsticks. The old woman's cooking was delicious. Even for someone as picky as her, she couldn't help but take a few extra bites. After you eat, I'll take you back. Are you coming back with me? No. I'll take you to the bus station, and you can buy a ticket home. Then I'm not leaving. If you want me to go, you have to come with me. The more he tried to get rid of her, the more determined she was to stay. Cole had an endless list of chores. Other people use their vacation time to travel and have fun. He uses to help his grandmother with farm work, harvesting wheat, weeding, hauling water for the vegetables, and feeding the poultry. Cole had incredible stamina, a seemingly inexhaustible supply of energy. He'd hoist a shovel and dig into the earth, his body drenched in sweat, his tan muscles gleaming in the sun. While he worked the land, she would sit nearby, fanning herself with her portable fan. In the afternoon, his grandmother went out and returned with a bag full of things. Her trembling hands pulled out a gourmet ice cream bar and handed it to Jenna. You didn't eat much for lunch. You must be hungry now. Have some ice cream. This one is good. Jenna looked at the ice cream in her hand. It was a brand that cost nearly $10 at the local market. The old woman had never tried it herself and didn't know if it was any good, but she figured expensive meant good, so she bought the priciest one in the freezer. The $10 ice cream bar was for Jenna. For herself, she ate a 50-cent ice pop. She said she preferred that one. After handing over the ice cream, she rummaged in the bag again and pulled out a package of pastries. This is bread. I see all the young girls eating it. The old woman wiped her hands on her clothes. I just washed my hands. They're not dirty. Take it. Jenna had many quirks. She was afraid of the dark, a picky eater, a neat freak, and particularly disliked contact with strangers. She never ate cheap, packaged bread. It was full of preservatives and didn't taste good. But looking into the old woman's kind face, she found herself accepting it. Thank you. Maybe it was the heat, or maybe she really hadn't eaten enough for lunch. But as Jenna ate the slightly melted ice cream, she found it surprisingly delicious. Unlike Cora, she had been raised by her parents. Her memories of her grandparents were faint, limited to holiday visits. She didn't like them because they favored Cora. She didn't like their house either, because there were few toys and no video games. But sometimes, she would look with envy at the rag doll her grandmother had knitted for Cora, or the swing and small stool her grandfather had made for her. Seeing her eat the ice cream, a smile spread across the old woman's face. She carried the bag over to Cole. He took out a mint chip ice cream bar, sat on the ground, and devoured it in a few large bites. The evening breeze was cool against the skin. The sky was full of stars, and fireflies flickered in the grass. For dinner, the old woman steamed rice and heated up rolls. Worried Jenna wouldn't eat, she also made a special corn chowder. Jenna, surprisingly, took a small roll. The old woman asked her, "Is it good?" She nodded. "It's a little better than store-bought bread." The old woman was delighted, her eyes crinkling into a thin line. She then went and fried up a batch of potato chips for them. After her bath that night, the old woman prepared a room for her. Cole's house had no air conditioning, only electric fans. The fan in her room whirred and clicked, while outside, the cacophony of frogs and crickets was grating. She had eaten too much salt at dinner and drank a lot of water. In the middle of the night, she had to use the bathroom. In Cole's old house, the toilet was outside. You had to open the main door to get to it. Jenna was afraid of snakes and the dark. She opened the door, stepped out, then quickly came back in. After pacing for a while, just as she was about to knock on Cole's door, the door next to hers opened. The old woman emerged with a flashlight. In the darkness, the beam of light landed squarely on Jenna. Need to use the restroom? Come on, I'll take you. The old woman's hand was rough and calloused. She gently took Jenna's hand and led her, step by unsteady step, to the bathroom. Go on, I'll wait here for you, the old woman said from the doorway. Jenna took 2 steps, then glanced back at her. When she came out, the old woman was still standing there. Back in her room, the sound of the fan no longer seemed so noisy. The croaking of the frogs outside now sounded like the lullabies her mother used to sing to her as a child, the sound enveloping her, guiding her into a deep sleep. She didn't know what her parents had said to Cole on the phone, but he stopped trying to make her leave and let her stay. So she stayed, helping with cooking, chatting with the old woman, and making her laugh. A week passed, and Cole packed his bags to return. The old woman took out a burlap feed sack and started filling it with food, freshly milled rice, seasonal vegetables, and freshly slaughtered chicken, duck, and goose. The family pig wasn't to be slaughtered until the new year, so the old woman had gone to the market to buy fresh pork, saying the local pigs were fed more grain and their meat was more fragrant. She packed a bag for Cole and one for Jenna. The bag for Jenna was a nicer piece of luggage, not packed as full, but containing a little of everything. This is all homegrown. We use fewer pesticides than what you buy outside, so it's healthier. Cole told me you're on a diet. You're already so thin, you shouldn't lose any more weight. It's not good for your health. When you go back, eat well and take care of yourself. You're always welcome here, as long as you don't mind the mess. Jenna looked at the white hair on the old woman's head, the brown spots on her face. She opened her mouth to say something, but in the end, only a muffled hum escaped. On the way back, she rode in Cole's car. The trunk was packed full. As the car drove away, their big yellow dog, Daisy, chased after them. She stuck her head out the window and saw the old woman secretly wiping away tears. A sharp pang shot through her nose. The drive from there to Denver took several hours. They left in the morning and arrived in the afternoon. Not long after returning from Cole's hometown, she and Cole started dating. When people in her circle found out, they all came asking about Cole. When they learned he was from the countryside, some made snide remarks, calling him a kept man. Cole wasn't her type. His overly honest nature was uninteresting. The novelty wore off after a few days, but the thought of breaking up with him was something she couldn't bear. And so, they dated for 8 months, while the rumors around them grew more intense. Cora marries into a wealthy family and inherits the business. And Jenna? She's stuck with some country bumpkin. The comparison is just pathetic. Water flows down, people climb up, but she insists on getting mixed up with mud and shrimp. She turns down so many rich heirs for Cora's assistant. Some people are just born to scrape the bottom of the barrel. I think she didn't just break her leg, she broke her brain. Under the weight of public opinion, Jenna began to doubt her choice. Was it worth sacrificing the rest of her life just to win against her sister once? A few days before the wedding, she and Cole went back to his hometown to see his grandmother. The old woman refused to come to Denver, saying she got carsick and airsick and couldn't handle any form of transportation. They decided to hold 2 ceremonies. The first in Denver, mainly for the Vance family and their guests, and the second back in Cole's hometown. Hearing that they were getting married, the old woman was overjoyed, helping to stuff red envelopes and plan the guest list and menu. When Jenna learned the grandmother wouldn't be coming to Denver, she felt an inexplicable sense of relief. The old woman took grave candles and incense, preparing to go up the mountain to share the good news with Cole's mother. Talia, your son is getting married. Jenna is a wonderful girl. And you, Grandpa, you have to watch over them from heaven. Bless them, Talia and Jenna, with a smooth life, good health, and happiness. Jenna never expected that the old woman would die on May 21 SD. She had indirectly killed her. To this day, the biggest regret of her life was running away from her own wedding. She only ever wanted to beat Cora once, to make her suffer the lifelong pain of unrequited love. She never thought she would be the one left suffering. She couldn't even sleep, relying on pills every night just to find some rest. Ring. The sound of her phone cut through her memories. She pulled out her bag. Seeing the number on the screen, her fingers trembled. She stared for a few seconds before answering. What is it? A man's hoarse voice came through the line. I've been out of prison for so long. Why haven't you come to see me? Are you ashamed of me now? Jenna's brow tightened. It felt like a snake was coiling around her neck, squeezing tighter and tighter. No, I just got back to Denver. When are you free? I want to see you. I want to have dinner with you. Did she really have to go? Her sudden silence angered him. He raised his voice. Don't you forget who I went to prison for. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done time. My family wouldn't have been destroyed. Jenna, you owe me this. You're going to spend the rest of your life paying me back. A sharp pain lanced through her heart. She looked up at the sky. There were no stars in the Denver night, only a blanket of darkness. I know. Good, as long as you know. Speaking of which, Cole's had some damn good luck these past 5 years. Not only did he not end up crippled, but he got to marry your sister. Your sister's not picky, is she? Marrying her own brother-in-law. Jen had thought the same thing back then. She figured that after everything that had happened between her and Cole, Cora would never get together with him, whether for her own pride or the family's reputation. Even if she loved him, she wouldn't dare. Who would have thought they would get married the very next year, and in a grand ceremony, as if nothing had ever happened? It just proved the saying true. Winter will always return, and those who are meant to be will find each other again. Some people, even after you lose them, will find their way back to each other after all the twists and turns. At first, Jenna had treated Cole like a toy, their relationship a game. But after she actually ran, she began to regret it. She would pull up their old chat logs and read them over and over, and the details she had once ignored became painfully clear. When she learned he was with Cora, regret washed over her like a tidal wave. She constantly asked herself why she hadn't cherished him, why she hadn't woken up sooner. He had been so good to her, loved her so much, and even her family had approved. Why she cared so much about what other people thought. Why hadn't she held on just a little bit longer? By the time she realized she had fallen in love with Cole, it was too late. It was like a temporal displacement, impossible to reverse. From then on, the feeling of what might have been was like a brand on her heart, aching in the dead of night. Cole became her past, a past she could never move on from. You can never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Jenna, who are you talking to? Her mother's voice came from behind her. Jenna instinctively tightened her grip on her phone. Just a friend. My mom's here, I have to go. Without waiting for a response, she hung up. Staring at the dark screen, she finally felt like she could breathe again. Eleanor came to her side, looking down from the terrace with her. What Jenna could see, she could see as well. She watched Cole below and said, they've been very happy all these years. Jenna knew they were happy. She had dated Cole for so long, but she had never seen him look so relaxed and free. His gaze would always unconsciously lock on Cora. In quiet corners, he'd engage in childish antics, wrapping an arm around her waist, touching her ear, kissing her hand. Were you serious about what you said at dinner tonight? Of course I was serious. Jenna leaned on the railing. I was sincerely apologizing to them. Seeing them so happy puts my mind at ease. It's good that you can think that way. Tom was a great healer. It might hurt at first, but if you could just endure not contacting them, not seeing them, it would eventually fade. It had been so many years. There was no point in holding on. Tell me about how you met your boyfriend. We met online. We met up for a movie, and I found out he was a nice person, so we kept in touch. Eleanor frowned. You met online. Is that reliable? Jenna forced a smile. A lot of people meet online these days. I've looked into his family. There are no issues. Is he good to you? Of course. Jenna tilted her head back, lost in thought. When we go out to eat, he always orders my favorite dishes. He'll peel the crawfish for me and put it on my plate. If there's something I don't like cilantro, he'll pick it out for me. He can cook, too. The ravioli and cinnamon rolls he makes are amazing, the best I've ever had. I also love his fried rice. He knows my legs were injured and they ache in the cold, so he always checks the weather forecast and gets heating pads and pain relief cream for me. In the winter, he'll hold my legs to warm them up. He makes me bone broth. When I have my period, he makes me brown sugar tea to help with the cramps. I have a bad temper, so he's always patient with me. When I'm upset, he coaxes me until I'm happy again. He always listens, always follows through. We've been to so many places together. He's careful with my legs. When I can't walk anymore, he carries me. He even took me to meet his family. As Eleanor listened, the description sounded more and more familiar. What is family like? He was raised by his grandmother. She's very good to me. Every time I visit, she prepares all sorts of delicious food for me. Before I leave, she always packs a bag for me to take home. The rolls she makes are better than any bread, especially the cinnamon ones. Her flatbread is amazing, too. I can eat so much of it with braised beef. During the New Year, she gave me a red envelope with a good luck charm she'd gotten for me inside. As Jenna spoke, she lowered her head, hiding the emotion in her eyes. Just his grandmother? No other relatives? What about his parents? His parents are gone. His family situation is a lot like Cole's. Jenna turned to look at her mother. Mom, you wouldn't look down on him for that, would you? Eleanor's brow twitched. She paused for a few seconds before nodding. No, as long as he's good to you, that's all that matters. Suddenly, she noticed the necklace Jenna was wearing. What's that on your neck? Jenna touched the ring on the chain, a sweet smile on her face. My boyfriend gave it to me. I don't think you've told me your boyfriend's name. Jenna's voice was hoarse. His name is Colin Mills. Colin Mills, a name so similar to Cole Miller. Honest, yet a complete fabrication. There was no boyfriend. Colin was just a figment of her imagination. When the human mind experiences extreme trauma, it triggers a self-preservation mechanism. It will automatically forget or weaken related memories. If it can't simplify the trauma, it will create a fantasy. So, after Cole and Cora got married, she had imagined a boyfriend for herself. He was just like Cole, gentle, considerate, warm, open, and devoted. He was a good person, a very, very good person. She fantasized about being loved, fantasized about someone like Cole loving her. She fantasized about someone being there to cherish her tears, someone to hold her when she had nightmares. Her mother had asked if she was doing well abroad. The truth was, she wasn't doing well at all, and she was keenly aware that her suffering was her own fault, so she didn't even have the right to complain to anyone. Eleanor didn't seem to notice anything amiss. She patted Jenna's shoulder. If you think he's good, then that's what matters. She had given her daughters complete freedom in marriage. As long as the man had good character, a less-than-ideal family background didn't matter. The Vance family had more than enough money. They didn't need to sacrifice their daughter's happiness for a strategic alliance. If she wanted to get married, she could. If she didn't, that was fine too. They had raised her for over 20 years. They could certainly support her for the rest of her life. Eleanor was also worried that pushing too hard would backfire. For now, she would take it one step at a time and let nature take its course. Your father is a pretty good judge of character. When you have time, invite your boyfriend over. We can all have a meal together, and we can vet him for you. Jenna smiled. And what if he doesn't pass your inspection? Eleanor was at a loss for words. A child's romantic life was always a major family dilemma. Handle it well, and the family is harmonious. Handle it poorly, and it could tear everyone apart. You're the one who knows if the shoe fits. We can only give you our opinion. The rest is up to you. Eleanor figured Jenna wasn't that foolish. After all, she had been with Cole. With that as a point of comparison, her judgment couldn't be that bad. Jenna smiled. Don't worry. I'll arrange it when I have time. Eleanor looked down from the terrace. She saw Cora leap onto Cole's back like a cat, her hands playfully tugging at his ears. Leo saw them and stood in front of them, raising his arms as if he wanted to play too. Cole ignored him, running forward with Cora on his back, while Leo chased after them, holding the dog's leash. Eleanor couldn't help but laugh. They're so old, but they still act like children. Only then did she remember Jenna was beside her, but thankfully, she showed no reaction. Mom, I'm going to head out. I'll have the driver take you. No need. I drove. Jenna waved. I'll come by again tomorrow. Call me when you get home. Okay. The moment Jenna turned away, tears fell. She hadn't been able to hold it together until the end. She wiped her eyes, forcing her lips into a smile that was uglier than a grimace. As she went downstairs, she inevitably ran into Cole and the others. Cora was off Cole's back now. They were holding each other in a close embrace, completely oblivious to the pair of eyes staring at them from a distance. After a moment, Cora looked up, her gaze passing over Cole's broad shoulder to meet hers. They looked at each other across the space, a scene that felt like a replay from 4 years ago. Back then, she had also watched Cora from afar as Cora hugged Cole in a victor's embrace, staking her claim, even kissing him right in front of her. The scene before her was like a movie rewinding, the two moments slowly merging into one. Cora stood on her toes and kissed the corner of Cole's mouth. Cole froze for a second, then reached up to tuck a stray strand of hair behind her ear. They held each other's gaze for 2 seconds before he slowly leaned down to kiss her lips, his hands tightening around her waist. The sight was a brutal assault on Jenna's senses. For a moment, she was frozen in place, as if paralyzed. Cora was doing it on purpose. Cora patted Cole's shoulder. Jenna's behind us. Cole didn't turn around. He held her and swayed slightly, as if drunk. Forget her. Let's just hug. Cora reached up and gently tugged his reddening ear. She's still watching us. I'm going to say hello. All right. Cole was still obedient to her. When she said let go, he let go. He released Cora and turned around, and sure enough, there was Jenna. She was standing there, motionless, staring at them as if in a daze. Cole frowned slightly. Cora spoke. Are you leaving? Jenna pulled her gaze away, looking down. Yeah, it's getting late. Drive safely on your way back. Jenna had intended to leave, but she couldn't swallow her pride. She looked up. Sister, you haven't changed a bit after all these years. Your methods of provocation are just as clumsy as they were 4 years ago. Are you staking your claim like this because you're insecure in your marriage? What you see as staking a claim, I see as daily life. Jenna, don't flatter yourself. You pose no threat to me, and I have no interest in provoking you. Cora's gaze was that of a victor looking down on the vanquished, a confidence given to her by the man at her side. Cole glanced at Jenna once, then looked away. Two people who were once so close were now like strangers, or even less than strangers. In the end, it was Jenna who broke first. She forced a smile. I guess I was just overthinking things. I'm leaving. Not long after Jenna left, Eleanor also came down for a walk. Seeing Cole and the others, she went over. Did you see Jenna? She already left. I just remembered she had some wine tonight. She can't drive. Cora said, you should call her right now and tell her to get a rideshare or have someone pick her up. Drinking and driving was a death wish. If she killed herself, that was one thing, but what if she hit someone else? Eleanor nodded and quickly called Jenna. Jenna, you had wine tonight. You shouldn't drive. Get an Uber home. What if something happens? Okay, you haven't gotten in the car yet, have you? No, I'm just standing on the sidewalk getting some air. That's good. After hanging up, Eleanor told Cora about Jenna's new boyfriend. Cora didn't believe it. She didn't know about anything else, but the way Jenna looked at Cole was clearly filled with ill intent. What's her boyfriend's name? Eleanor replied, his name is Colin Mills. She said they met online. He has a grandmother, and he's very good to her. Colin Mills. Cole Miller. Was it a coincidence? A cold light flashed in Cora's eyes. You believe whatever she says? What if it's a lie? I saw a picture. I think it's real. It wasn't that she wanted to believe it, but that she needed to. Jenna was at an age where she should be getting married. If she didn't, Eleanor would never be at ease, always worried she was still hung up on Cole. Cora's expression was unreadable. She prompted her mother to continue talking about Jenna's boyfriend. The more she heard, the more familiar it sounded. Wasn't this just another Cole Miller? Was she looking for a boyfriend or a replacement? Or did this person even exist at all? Only Eleanor was still in the dark, genuinely happy that Jenna had found someone. Cora didn't burst her mother's bubble. How long have they been dating? Eleanor replied. She said about half a year. Is she serious about it? From her tone, it sounded like it. If she's serious, then when is she bringing him home to meet us? She said Colin is busy recently, so she needs to find the right time. Cora knew immediately that Jenna was lying through her teeth. We'll see when we meet him. The truth would be obvious at a glance. If Jenna was up to something, Cora wouldn't hesitate to ship her abroad again. At her core, Cora was petty. She was possessive. What was hers, she would protect fiercely. If anyone damaged her property, she wouldn't hesitate to strike back. When they were children and Jenna broke her rag doll, Cora not only beat her up, but also cut her favorite dress to shreds. After that, Jenna never dared to enter her room or touch her things again. Eleanor's soft heart often made her naive about certain things. However, that didn't mean she would disregard Cora's feelings and force her to forgive Jenna. Of course, even if she tried, it would be useless. Cora was more resolute than any of them. If she didn't want to do something, no one could make her. If even Cora could hear the inconsistencies, then Cole certainly could too. He stood by, listening with a grim expression, his brow furrowing deeper and deeper. Before, he had only been wary of Jenna. Now, he wanted to stay as far away from her as possible. As the saying goes, if someone's behavior makes you uncomfortable, whether it's intentional or not, the moment you feel unease, get away. Mismatched energies always lead to trouble. Better to avoid the risk. It was less about avoiding Jenna and more about avoiding disaster. After they got home, showered, and went to bed, Cole gave Cora a massage. When her stomach hurt, he rubbed her belly. When her neck and shoulders were sore, he massaged them. When her chest was tender, Cora purred in his arms like a kitten, though her temperament was much better. A kitten would scratch you for rubbing its belly. Afterward, Cora, wrapped in a blanket, asked about his work. The first day went smoothly. I think my body still has some muscle memory, so it wasn't as hard as I expected. Cole gave her a brief overview of his company's business model. Cora already knew everything he was saying. She'd had someone look into it the day she arrived. She wasn't surprised by Cole's success. From the first moment she saw him, she knew he would succeed at whatever he did. Gold will shine wherever it is. The people who had once mocked him as a country bumpkin and a kept man could never have imagined he would achieve what he had today. The more successful Cole became, the more Jenna would regret her choice. Is your schedule busy lately? I have a business lunch with Mr. Wallace the day after tomorrow. It was really that Mr. Wallace wanted to franchise his restaurant. Currently, Cole's fast casual cafes were only in this city. It wasn't that he didn't want to expand, but that it was difficult to manage quality control once the number of locations grew. Cole was serious about the food industry. Food safety was his top priority, using only the freshest ingredients. Secondly, his prices were affordable. As a result, although his cafes were famous, they operated on a thin profit margin. Many people had approached him about franchising over the years, but he had refused them all. He had intended to refuse Mr. Wallace as well, but the man had been so persistent, pursuing him for 6 months, and the contract he presented was very sincere. So, Cole had decided to schedule a proper meeting. Can you handle it? No problem. And if you can't? Cole immediately cut in. Then of course I'll have to ask my dear wife for help. There was no shame in asking his wife for help. As the internet said, it was just rational utilization of resources. Cora rolled over, hugging his arm. After you're done with your meeting and things aren't so busy, let's go see the place you used to live. Cora was a possessive person. She wanted to experience the things Cole and Jenna had done together. Visit the places he used to live, try the food trucks he used to eat at, go see the stars from the mountains, set off fireworks for New Year's, and have a wild day at an amusement park. To go to the places he'd been, walk the roads he'd walked, read the books he'd read. There was something deeply romantic about it. Cole stroked her hair. Okay. Cora fell asleep quickly. She must have been having a pleasant dream, because a faint smile graced her lips. Meanwhile, in another room, the air was thick with the smell of alcohol. Jenna was suffering from insomnia again. She had run out of sleeping pills. You couldn't buy them online, and the pharmacy and hospital were too far away. It was too late to go out. So she had gone to the convenience store downstairs and bought 2 bottles of liquor. If she drank enough to make her head spin, she would surely be able to sleep. She had bought 2 bottles of grain alcohol. It was high proof, burning her throat as it went down. She drank as if she felt nothing, tilting her head back and pouring it down her throat, a trail of heat from her mouth to her stomach. Jenna's health used to be good, but after moving abroad, her irregular diet and poor sleep schedule had led to a host of problems, the most serious being her stomach. After half a bottle of liquor, her stomach couldn't take it anymore. A searing pain erupted. Before she could make it to the bathroom, she threw up, kneeling on the floor, her body convulsing, her mouth hanging open numbly. The acrid smell of alcohol mixed with undigested food filled the air. She heaved until only stomach acid came up, her stomach feeling as if it were being clawed from the inside. She took off her jacket and threw it over the mess on the floor, then staggered to the bathroom. The motion sensor light above the mirror flickered on. In the dim light, her face was terrifyingly pale, her swollen, red-rimmed eyes glistening with tears. So ugly, Jenna muttered to herself. So ugly I barely recognize myself. She spoke to her reflection. Look at you. Why would he choose you? You're not as pretty as his wife, not as rich as his wife. What do you have to compete with her? You're not even as healthy as her. The apartment she was in was originally bought by her parents to be her and Cole's marital home. Cole had put a lot of his own money into the renovation, planning the style, layout, decorations. All according to her preferences. We'll make this the master bedroom. It gets good sunlight. We have to install heated floors, so your legs won't hurt so much in the winter. Didn't you say you've been having trouble sleeping? This is a pillow my grandmother made. It's filled with herbs to help you sleep. The pillow even had flowers embroidered on it by his grandmother. When she got it, she hadn't slept on it, but had put it away in a closet. It wasn't until she ran from the wedding, until the regret set in, that she finally took it out to sleep with. That night, she had hugged the pillow, the scent of herbs lulling her into a deep, dreamless sleep. 5 years had passed. The herbal scent was gone, replaced by a musty smell. But Jenna couldn't bear to throw it away. She had kept it here. After coming back, she had taken it out, beaten the dust from it, and set it out in the sun. But no matter how long it baked in the light, the musty smell wouldn't go away. Jenna hugged the pillow, a memory surfacing. She had called Cole. Cole, I'm sorry. I don't want to marry you anymore. I regret it. What was Cole's reaction when she said those words? She didn't know. All she knew was that the line had gone silent. She had waited a long time for a reply, but when none came, she simply hung up. At her friend's urging, she left, turning the wedding into a disaster. The younger Miss Vance had run off with another man. The groom had gotten into a car accident and was in the emergency room. She hadn't found out until that night. To avoid spoiling her mood, her phone had been with her friend, Wyatt. The Vance family was in chaos. She didn't dare go back. After changing out of her wedding dress, she went on a trip out of state with Wyatt. As she left, she thought that when she got back, she could just apologize to Cole, sweet-talk him a bit. If they couldn't be husband and wife, they could still be friends. And given Cole's professional network, she was his most valuable contact. Cole was easy to appease. A hug, a piece of candy, a few sweet words whispered in his ear, and he'd be fine. It had always been that way. 3 days later, she returned to Denver. Her calls to Cole wouldn't go through. Her texts wouldn't deliver. She sent someone to ask around and found out that Cole's grandmother had died. His grandmother was dead. Could Cole still be appeased? The scene shifted. She was standing in front of him. She had never cried in front of Cole before, but that day, in the pouring rain, she knelt before him, her hands clutching his jacket. Cole, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't know my own heart. I cared too much about what other people thought. I shouldn't have run away. I shouldn't have abandoned you. I honestly didn't know you'd get into an accident and be hurt. I didn't know your grandmother would die. I regretted it the moment I left with Wyatt. Nothing happened between us. Can we get back together? Please? I won't look at another man. I won't throw tantrums or be unreasonable anymore. We can get married, have children. There was no warmth in Cole's eyes. He stood over her, holding an umbrella, looking down as he spoke the most piercing words imaginable. Jenna, do you think I'm that cheap? That I have to wait until you're completely rotten, until you stink, before I throw you away? You say you didn't mean for it to happen, but your legs are attached to your body. Did someone hold a knife to your throat and force you? Even the best ice cream gets tiresome if you eat it every day, especially when the ingredients are mediocre and it's already been licked by someone else. Disgusting, isn't it? A low rumble of thunder echoed in her ears. Shadows danced across the window pane, the wind-blown curtain looking like a human silhouette. A moment later, a flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a deafening crack of thunder. Crack, as if tearing the very fabric of the heavens. Jenna couldn't tell if it was a hallucination or reality. She pulled the covers over her head, her back drenched in cold sweat. Ever since that day, Jenna had been terrified of thunderstorms. On a dark and stormy night, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Fear always made her mind race, imagining a hand reaching out from under the bed, a face appearing on the ceiling. She didn't dare move, only wrapping herself tighter in the blankets. If only Cole were here with her now. Cole, Cole, Cole. She called his name, her tears soaking into the pillow. In the empty room, no one answered. There was only the sound of distant thunder. Jenna was woken by her phone. She answered it, glancing at the clock. It was already 10 in the morning. She looked at the caller ID before picking up. Mom. Her voice was hoarse. Her mother paused on the other end, her voice filled with concern. Your voice is so hoarse. Are you sick? No, I'm just not over the jet lag. I just woke up. Eleanor said, I was going to ask when you were coming over, but if you're still sleeping, I won't bother you. It's fine, I'm awake now. Are you coming for lunch then? I'll have the chef make your favorite dishes. If you come, it'll just be the two of us. Eleanor thought that with fewer people around, Jenna might feel more comfortable, and it would be easier to ask about her love life. Jenna's body ached, and her head felt hot. Getting out of bed was a struggle. I think I'll pass. If you don't come here, what will you eat for lunch? I'll just order delivery. This isn't abroad. It's easy to get food delivered here. Eleanor didn't press her, but she sighed when she heard her daughter was ordering takeout. I can have the driver bring you some food. Don't go to the trouble. I feel like ordering in, Jenna insisted. I'll come see you this afternoon. All right, you can go shopping with me. We'll eat out tonight, and then you can come see a movie with me. Eleanor quickly made the arrangements and hung up. Jenna lay in bed for a while, touching her hot forehead. She hadn't thought she was sick, but the moment she tried to stand, the room spun and her stomach churned. Jenna ordered some porridge and slowly got up. She saw her pale, swollen face in the mirror. She splashed cold water on her face and held an ice pack to her eyes. The living room still reeked of alcohol. The empty bottles were in the middle of the floor. The clothes on the floor, covered in vomit, were a lost cause. She found a bag and did a quick cleanup. By the time she was done, her food had arrived. Jenna ate the porridge and took some medicine. She opened the windows to air out the apartment. It had rained last night, and the air was cool. The sun came out around noon. Jenna took out the trash and then got a cab to Cole's company. She had kept track of him while she was abroad. She knew he was a big deal now, no longer the kept man people used to whisper about. She had missed her one and only chance to win against Cora. A shortcut to success had been laid out before her, and she had insisted on taking a detour, getting lost along the way, and never finding her way out. The receptionist didn't recognize her. Her tone was polite enough. Ma'am, can I help you? Jenna said, I'm here to see your CEO, Cole Miller. Do you have an appointment? No. Jenna shook her head. I'm Jenna Vance. Cora, Vance's sister. Recognition dawned on the receptionist's face, and her expression changed. So this is the CEO's sister-in-law. Ms. Vance, you can't go in without an appointment. How about this? I'll call up and ask. The only person who had unrestricted access was the boss's wife, Cora. Even Cole's mother-in-law and father-in-law had to be announced.